What is going on, everybody? It is episode 369. Nice. Of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am finally back from my journey to Santa Barbara. I was on the Whatever podcast a couple of times. I guess a total of like 10 hours of just total insanity. But no regrets here. I feel rejuvenated and refreshed, and I've saved up some pop culture related takes. So I don't want to talk about dating anymore. I'm done. It's over.
You got a lot to say today.
Yes.
All right.
And we've got Phil.
Let's talk about how impressive Mary's self-control is. She didn't shank anybody at all.
You brought that into the conversation.
That's because I noticed that there were people that deserved shanking, and Mary shanked no one. So I think that that's a very good thing. I'm Phil Labonte. I sing For All That Remains.
We all deserve shanking.
Yeah.
No.
We all deserve that.
Oh, that's a Catholic thing, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. So
she's a model of self-control, ladies and gentlemen. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Do you remember when Bad Baby spoke at Oxford? Well, they've upped their game. They had ex-adult film star Mia Khalifa there to do a Q&A and speech with a guy, like a conversation leader there, and then they took questions from the audience. It was quite interesting. There's an interesting article written about what they think would have been a better thing for her to talk about rather than diversity, inclusion, and all the other HR buzzwords we keep hearing everybody talk about today. So we will discuss that. I want to ask like what it means for society when those are our new thought leaders here in America.
Thought leaders.
That is THOT, yes. There's no OU and there's no GH in that. All right, we're also going to talk about the Miller Lite situation, but not the commercial. We're going to talk about the actress from it who told Stephen Colbert that he is a model white male, and there's nothing derogatory or discriminatory about saying something like that. So we will get into that. We're also going to tie that in with a couple of other things. Also, we have, and I'm not kidding you, one of the most bonkers letters you are ever going to read in your entire life from Taylor Swift's fans. In this case, it seems like a group of
super chat here
from
Shane H. Wilder. Mary, I said that you went St. Nicholas on Whatever. I rescind that because you rounded up a posse for the Crusades. Needless to say, the show kept me awake while I finished up this article I'm posting next week. God bless.
She didn't even go on one crusade. She was gone all week, and there was no holy wars.
Like I said, model of self-control.
Absolutely.
Model of self-control.
Kudos to Mary.
So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk
Surrounded
about...
by heathens.
All the time. Yeah,
I'm just
not here.
Even now.
I mean, or is it more like it's a 4-hour podcast and it's very hard to crusade after you have to sit there for 5 hours, basically?
It's just full body agony.
Like I was like, when I was watching the clips, I'm like, it was light when it started, it was dark when it's done. That's got to do something to your brain.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Mentally. So we're gonna talk about that. We're also gonna talk about Gabrielle Union and Priyanka Chopra. I say Chopra, but it's Chopra. I'm getting that down. They are the alphas of their relationships. We're gonna talk about Priyanka Chopra specifically with the Jonas brother. We got a lot to say about that. So if you guys are ready, we can get right into it. Mary, now that you're back, are you ready?
I am ready.
Phil, are you ready?
See.
All right, here we go. To get the show started, as if to tell you a bad joke and then rub it in your face that he wasn't charged with not convicted of any actual crimes, Alec Baldwin lands a role in a film about the 1970 Kent State shooting after the Rust tragedy.
This is just some MK Ultra level psyoping.
It is. It's him. It's literally him rubbing it in your face that he got away with it.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's
like I already know that there's predictive programming in Hollywood where they show you something to normalize it and then later on it happens in real life because they've constructed that.
Yeah.
But this is different. This is like it's sort of an admission of guilt just to like gaslight you.
It's like Roman Polanski making a movie about being an R-wordist.
Yeah.
Like it would.
R-wordist.
It's I try to keep it family friendly as much as
follow
much as possible.
the rules.
I get it.
Like it is. It would be like him making a movie about that and then rubbing it in your face that he was that and you had to deal with it in a lot of ways. Oh, we got a big one there from Francisco Sanchez Jr.
Well, it didn't update for me. Oh, I see it. Thank you. Because I can't give whatever my money, especially when I only watch it because someone from PCC guests on it. This is for Mary, Brett, Phil, Timcast, and of course YouTube.
Cheers.
Yeah, they got to get that 30%.
Dude, like, I was just talking to someone, and thank you very much, Francisco Sanchez Jr. But like, I was just talking to someone how like Instagram for a while rolled out like profit sharing, basically, like where like I was able to make like actual money off skating stuff on there, right? And of course they got rid of it.
They're like, people are making too much money
right away.
now.
They're like, so all they left there was like the ability to like you can gift someone money, like
on a live stream,
and that's Facebook.
Yeah,
like that. That's not like. I mean, everyone knows that YouTube doesn't actually make a lot of money. If they make money, they, Google does it for other reasons or whatever, probably for propaganda. But anyways, Instagram, like Facebook knows how to print money. Like they got a machine in the basement that's just
they are happy to sell your dad in China,
chunking hundos out like we're crazy. And so to think that they, we're just like, yeah, we can't give you plebs any money. And I'm one of those guys that's very much that I think that there needs to be some kind of legislation in regards to your data as your property. Even if it's only to prevent people from taking your data to bother you and sell it or whatever. So
should there be legislation against Alec Baldwin getting to take roles like this just to rub it in your face that he's above the law?
Didn't Kevin Spacey take a role in a movie about child abuse?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
He did.
Like right after.
We talked about it before.
It was like an Italian film or something like that.
It was in some European country that's like that turns more of a blind eye to
I've been reading a couple of articles that says that France in particular seems to have very little in the way of regard for that type of stuff.
Where do you think the sexual revolution came from?
Children?
Ideologically?
For like sexual, like Kevin Spacey was more about it didn't have to do with children, did it? It was just sex.
Yeah.
Oh no, it did. It was.
And France currently, or maybe not currently, but at one point France had a age of consent that was like 15.
Yeah.
And there was this philosopher named Foucault that was trying to get the French government to lower it from 15.
Yeah.
That's real. He was a gross scumbag.
There was
I was just reading about Kinsey last night.
Jane Fonda said that like some French director like tried to get her to sleep with him because he said he needed to be able to see what her orgasms would look like on screen.
Come on.
Look, it's like
I was just watching She Said on the plane, by the way, because I'm a psychopath and I wanted to subject myself to that.
I wouldn't watch that even if I had an out, let alone if I was trapped in a box at 30,000 feet.
I just was too curious, and like I guess my taste in movies is anything that's expressly made just for women, right?
Okay.
So I watched that and a movie about Jane Austen.
Jane Austen's The Gorillas in the Mist.
The one with Anne Hathaway in it?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
From 2007, which was a golden age for Anne Hathaway.
Yes, she was in her prime at that point.
I watched She Said, and it just made Ashley Judd look like an actual saint.
Oh, okay.
But then I think later the Me Too movement turned on her because she didn't endorse sex workers.
Yeah.
She said that sex work isn't like real work and that it's subjugation of women, which is factually true.
I believe she's related to the Judds, the singers, the country artists, the Judds. Yes, I think she is.
She's also like...
My mom loved the Judds. My mom loved I actually there it is.
Wow, already.
Eat it. It's a special Ian crisis.
Oh.
You gotta hear the Ian part.
I like that.
Party.
I will say, by the way, Phil is eating the he/him chocolate, which I think is sus.
Little sus.
Little bit sus.
It's a little bit sus.
Totally don't care.
All right. I also want to point you guys to another trailer I would like you guys to check out if you get the opportunity. It's for a movie called The Creator, starring John David Washington. Did you watch this?
I saw that.
It's good, isn't it?
Looks,
the CGI is pretty good.
Is it like Dan
promising.
Schneider?
Yeah, I don't think so. But like, I feel so bad for John David Washington. I'll tell you what. He sounds just like his dad. When he talks, he sounds just like Denzel Washington. And he's just like, imagine
not gonna outlive
you're not
shadow.
going to be like, he's talented, but it's just like your dad is just such a talented person. Like Chet Hanks knew the assignment.
He's the blueprint.
He adjusted his focus to something else. He still acts, but it's like he's more than just an actor. And when I see John David Washington, he sounds like a mixture of Denzel Washington and this actor named Richard T. The guy from, people in the chat will know. He was from the show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I'll play you like a voice clip later. He sounds just like him, so he sounds like a combination of the two.
Okay.
And I just feel like when you watch a movie and you hear somebody that sounds as iconic as Denzel Washington does, you'd almost want to change your voice so that you're not going to immediately be reassociated, because I don't think he looks a ton like him. He sounds more like him than he looks.
He should probably come out as gay and then start putting on a more flamboyant feminine voice.
He could do that.
That would help him differentiate himself.
Richard T. The fact that I can't remember the name is a bad sign for today. Usually, my ability to remember the name of somebody early on is a sign of where my brain's at today. I can't remember today. That's okay.
I'm still not over She Said, because I just needed to rant about it a little more. Hollywood, for some reason, is so desperate to portray journalists as the Avengers of society, basically. It was like valorizing journalists so hard, and I don't understand why. These two New York Times journalists. So I guess I'm not discrediting their work, and I understand, of course, that Harvey Weinstein is a monster and deserves the punishment that he's gotten. But they just frame all of journalism as like this morally upright crusade for truth.
Journalists are like tobacco lobbyists.
Wasn't there a movie a couple years ago with Mark Ruffalo where he plays like a journalist who exposed some like toxic spill in a town or something like that? And or no, he might have been a lawyer. Like he was getting like justice for the people in this town. But
lawyers are scum usually too.
Yes, you know.
Maybe most people are scum.
Journalists
are worse.
And that's one of those things
Firemen
where you have
are
to be.
awesome.
Yes.
It's also like portraying in very openly that these female journalists are like the professional managerial Manhattanite class, that they're visibly neglecting their appearances, their beta husbands, their children, and everything else in their lives in the pursuit of truth. And then what happened? We got Harvey Weinstein. He was imprisoned. Okay, he was convicted. But what became of Me Too after that, which is like the cascading movement that came from this expose? Nothing. Yeah. The actual predators are still in high places. Nothing good came from it. Yeah. And then a bunch of people who are obviously far less powerful than Harvey Weinstein got wrongfully... They got wrongfully accused, or...
Aziz Ansari'd.
Yeah, or Aziz Ansari'd. And then it also shows that these journalists are basically mining the trauma of all of these women who worked with Harvey Weinstein, who are visibly upset and reluctant to say anything or to go down this path because it causes more trouble for them than it does for the New York Times. And the New York Times has no ability to even legally help them if they were to get a lawsuit from Miramax or whatever. And they're giving these women a story that they can help other women who are in trouble right now. They can help other women in the future who could fall victim to predators like Harvey, which didn't happen. So it's sort of like the same stereotypical Me Too bargain where some young actress miscalculates the risk that she's taking by hooking up with some powerful producer, thinking it'll get her a role, and it doesn't get her the role she wanted. And then the Me Too happens. But then you're Me Tooing them again because they're taking a risk by going public, coming forward with their story, selling their story, and they didn't get embraced the way that they thought they would, and they didn't get believed the way they thought they would, and didn't get peace from it, didn't get money from it.
And this was the point of the movie.
I mean, the movie still, for some reason, valorizes the journalists while showing all of these things very plainly. honestly victimize these people all over again.
Perhaps a disconnect by the people telling the story, just not really being able to relate to what was going on in the same way because they had an end goal in mind of what they wanted this movie to be, and it doesn't really jive with what they're actually telling, how they're actually telling the story.
It was like Zoe Kazan or something, and Carey Mulligan, who are not really in the Hollywood buzz sphere. Yeah. They're just actresses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who don't live in Hollywood but act.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are the ones that I actually tend to have more. Like, I like the ones that live outside of the bubble.
That live in Europe.
As much as possible.
Take the projects that they want to take.
Yeah.
And
well, so one of the reasons I like Josh Hart.
Interviews all the time.
One of the reasons I like Josh Hartnett, he's from Minnesota, was because he got out of blockbuster Hollywood pretty early and just did the art nerd projects that he wanted. Like, he didn't want to do the big blockbuster stuff. There's a $20 one right there from Lord Crimson TV.
Brett, the game Dead by Daylight is doing a Nicolas Cage crossover. Also, Mary, good job on whatever snoozecast. You were the only thing interesting. Phil, you're the man. Hint, think Matt Walsh.
There you go. What was out of all your appearances on whatever, which one was do you think was your favorite?
I don't know. They all have like their highlights.
Yeah.
I liked my first one, but the last two we had rage quits both times.
She's like, I didn't make anybody rage quit on the first one.
I think that's the new standard is like making someone storm out or get kicked out.
Who rage quit?
On the first time, this time around, one of the guests basically got kicked out / stormed out. Yeah, and then the next one, this girl was just being super disingenuous because she wouldn't answer one of our questions, but also wouldn't say that she didn't want to answer. So it was like we would ask her a question, she would just answer with another question, and it kept going in a circle where she was just trying to obstruct actual discussion, and then the chat paid like so much effing money, and
I was watching when
advocated for her to get kicked out.
I was watching when the most recent one started with Destiny, and I almost spent $100 to stop Destiny right like the very first thing. Like as soon as they started, I wanted to be like,
what was it that he said?
No, before he said anything, I wanted to be like, when he was doing the intro, do the intro, mute his mic before the intro gets done.
I'm pretty sure you have to
just for
spend like a minimum of like $1,000.
Oh, I thought it was $100 to mute him for 10 minutes.
That's a bargain.
The times I saw it happen, it was like $777 each time.
Worth it.
Yeah.
And people actually paid that much money to mute someone's mic for 10 minutes.
See, that's why I keep the Stream Deck over here. That way nobody can mute my mic.
Smart.
We should do the green screen stuff that they do with the soundboard. That's fun.
All right, we'll look into it. Like I said, I'm definitely going as that guy for Halloween. I need some stilts.
He's the most nondescript person.
I got to get the flannel.
Ever.
The flannel
with the number 7 pin on it.
Yeah.
He always wears the number 7 on himself.
Deuce
Boogaloo said Weinstein may have been a monster, but maybe he was a necessary monster like Saddam Hussein. Because look at the feminist cringe that's replaced him. Also, now that Cat Enjoyer Mary is back, can my floof Amy be on cute of the day?
I believe I saw a Deuce Boogaloo. I've got so many cute of the days lined up that it may be today, it may be another day. But
the feminist cringe didn't come only after Me Too. That was pre Me Too and post Me Too.
Oh yeah,
there has been no end to
feminist cringe. Was like, I mean, that was early.
Yeah.
Like late aughts, early teens, yeah.
I mean, like one of the things that, did you ever see 10 Things I Hate About You?
Mm-hmm.
I love the feminism that's in there because it's actually kind of shown in a way where it's shown as like she's a bit of an outsider for being this much of a feminist. Look at the music she listens to and the in the places she goes. I'm not like most. She's literally a feminist. I'm not like most girls.
Literally, yeah. That's what feminism used to be in like the 90s and the 2000s. I don't think that Harvey Weinstein was an actual Hoover Dam for feminists and SJW cringe in Hollywood. I was there well before him and will be for long after.
All right. Do you want to play? Should we play the Andrew Tate clip? The Andrew Tate clip is funny.
This is something that I really enjoyed.
All right, here we go.
People are paying for this with money. They're paying for this voluntarily, watching this with their own time.
He's talking about Disney Plus, by the way.
I'm still a brokey stuff in the Matrix. I just enjoyed Ant-Man. Ant-Man is fucking, they're attacking your mind. Don't you understand? This is beyond how trash Ant-Man is. This is a larger psyop on your human human psyche.
This is me after watching any Marvel movie.
It's literally Mary.
Literally me.
She's like, Paul Rudd is an agent of the state. He is here to drain your
I turn
brain
into Alex Jones.
of any and all resources and to turn your kids into zombies.
Literally,
Look,
yes.
I've told you guys what my friend says about Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones can see the future, but only when he's looking through potatoes. So that's why like the whole like turning the frogs gay, they were, you know, making their metabolisms go weird and it was messing with their metamorphosis and stuff. But, you know, Alex looked through the old Spud and said, "Man, they're turning the frogs gay." Well, he's right.
That was
about
so
a lot of
similar
things.
to Alex Jones that we might actually get banned on YouTube. your Alex Jones impression is so bad or so good, we might actually get banned.
Nice.
I had somebody reach out to me recently and say like, we're gonna like react to like the Alex Jones Bohemian Grove stuff. Can we even show that
No,
on
you
YouTube?
can't.
I was like, I don't think you can.
No,
Like,
it's ridiculous.
kind of bonkers.
Wish we could, though.
What
High
you should do
voltage.
is film it and then put it on Rumble.
High Voltage 75 said, spiciest take from Tuesday. Destiny's wife said Mexican food is gross. That's just unheard of to me, being from the Southwest. Mary, please tell me you got some In-N-Out while you were there. I did get In-N-Out,
Thoughts?
and it was mid. It sucked. But not
Wait,
only...
no. Wait. Is it mid or sucked? Make up your mind there.
Okay, let me
Thank you.
explain.
Those are different things.
Yes, they
The
are.
burger, mid, but I'm also not that into burgers. I don't really care, so I guess I didn't expect to be blown away by it.
Fair.
But the fries were actually abysmal.
Yes, the fries.
Like,
In-N-Out are
worst
drag.
fries I have had in an actual while,
Yes.
and I'm not some kind of foodie. Like, I don't care. I'll eat anything, but I did not eat my fries because they were disgusting.
Where do you
That is
prefer
actually
fry from?
that is the correct take. The
Awful.
fries are terrible.
Where do you prefer?
And that's
fries
half
from?
of your business model.
McDonald's.
It's burgers and fries. Fries are half your business model, and they suck that bad. Seriously?
Where do you like fries from?
I don't know. I guess I like McDonald's fries. I like Chick-fil-A fries.
The waffle fries at Chick-fil-A. I like Wendy's.
Almost anywhere has better fries than that.
Sea salt fries at Wendy's.
Those are like the worst fries I've almost ever had in my life.
Well, I see. This is what Andrew Tate's for. I need Andrew Tate's opinion on the fries from In-N-Out. It would be
He
hilarious.
would just rant about seed oils.
He would. It's what it would be. That's a fair point. Like that and microplastics
Aren't
are
you-
the new ones that everyone talks
I hear
about.
microplastics are actually bad, but that's that could be
I
just
hear
a
that too.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a bunch of hubbub. But does what kind of oil? Like, do you guys think you're supposed to be frying things in?
Tallow.
Tallow, beef
Animal
tallow.
fat. Yeah.
So
animal
not
fat.
like peanut oil, because I've always
Because they
heard that-
replaced the tallow and animal fats and like butter and ghee with using just vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil. So and it was theoretically to make it more accessible to like people who don't eat meat, but it also made it super unhealthy.
Okay.
Many people in the chat, Mary, are saying you did a fantastic job. or whatever.
Thanks.
They are very much in support.
Glad you
yeah.
think so.
Fantastic job not committing murder.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that
That's
too.
exactly what we want. No murder.
All right. So also speaking
We
of
hate murder.
speaking of food, Robert Downey Jr. helps vegan steak brand raise $15 million. Also, someone named Luke Rakowski posted about this, and there's a picture of Robert Downey
He
Jr.
looks so bad.
It's
I'm sorry.
literally iron deficiency.
Does he
man.
have like cancer or something?
No,
like, what's going
I don't
on?
think he looks like iron deficiency man right there. Like that's what it is. It's not.
I saw this
he needs
photo
eat
just
again.
scrolling, and I had no idea that it was him
That's
until
what?
I saw the caption.
That's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Like he is never coming back to the role, is he?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want him to come back to it anyways. He needs I don't want
No.
any of those actors to come back. I want a death to
What
actually
a
mean
sad
something.
display, though. Like it's just veganism is definitely like more of a mental virus.
And you had you were vegan for a while, right? Or vegetarian for a while.
I was vegan for like 5 years.
when you were much younger.
14 to around 19.
A lot of it ties in with the way that people perceive of like environmentalism. It's almost like a religion.
Is
Yeah.
this the fake steak here?
Yes. Yep.
It looks rather sinewy.
Yep. A little bit.
Not into it.
And that's like highly prepared steak too. So which means like
Yeah.
if you just like made
the
one on the
best one they've
fly,
got.
if you made one on the fly, it's gonna look worse than that.
Hold on,
So-
babe. I'm 3D printing our steak.
Chunk Food CEO says, the unique thing is our ability to control the microtexture. I don't want to hear about your control of the microtexture. I don't. I'm just saying.
That's what she said.
I
don't know.
doesn't look good to me.
I don't know what she said, okay?
All right. We've got 3 then. We've got wholesome of the day, we've got cringe of the day, and we've got cute of the day. What would you like to see first?
We need wholesome of the
I don't
day
like
after Mary
wholesome.
getting.
Well, I'm doing wholesome of the
Wholesome
day.
came about not under my watch.
Well,
I would have stopped this in
bad.
its tracks.
Post Malone helps a fan buy a home after meeting him at a bar. The guy performed
Okay,
at a
that's
bar
cool.
and basically got into a conversation with him. And thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I like wholesome, Mary. I like wholesome.
I like Posty.
Yeah.
Posty seems like the nicest dude, and he also
Very
he's a-
pro 2A.
Yeah, he's very pro 2A. He's a shooter. He hangs out with like a lot of the dudes he hangs out with are really cool dudes, and they wouldn't hang out with him if he wasn't cool. So, like Posty's get the thumbs up in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nice
so,
guy.
All right. So then would you like to do cringe? Like, is that too much good in the way if we do wholesome and cute right next to each other?
Cringe
Should
and
we-
sandwich it in between.
Okay. All right. So we will do cringe of the day. We are looking first here at we are living in a simulation.
no.
This is on an airplane. She's a very smart lady. I like that the lady's helping me.
She waited till the flight attendants were seated.
Why are you laughing? Can you stop filming me?
No way in hell am I stopping.
Excuse me?
No way.
She's pretty.
Yeah, she is.
Well, when you're hot, you're allowed to saran wrap yourself into your seat in the
Why on the
airplane.
window side?
This is a reenactment though, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
That's what they say. I think it says.
Why would a plane allow you to even reenact this?
This is a dramatization based on the actual events. I guess it says. Yes,
It's like an
actually.
Unsolved Mysteries episode.
I mean,
There were a lot of people still double masking, wearing the N95s, all that jazz on the flights I was on.
I am impressed when I see that stuff. Apparently, so get this: our guitar player Mike, he just had a whole nother round of COVID at his house. His wife, his baby's 2 years old now, almost 2 years old. And like they were just all suffering for a whole week. Another round of COVID. I'm like, man, y'all should stop getting it because I ain't had that thing yet.
Yep.
I've
haven't
never had a
either.
test.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I don't know why people keep getting it. I think they should avoid it.
I don't know, man. That's like when I actually saw like, look, people. I don't know the health situation of anybody wearing a mask out in public, right? Like that person could be immunocompromised. I don't know. It's not my place to say. But I did see someone recently driving alone with a mask on, and that was a bit shocking.
You know that one of the things that really, it's a small annoyance that has happened due to COVID that really bums me out. Like when COVID started, before wearing a mask was political, I thought this would be cool if people in America start wearing masks when they're sick like they do in Japan, because it was a normal thing in Japan, and that's just kind of what people did, and there was no political associations, and it was always nice to be like, oh, okay, so that person's wearing that, so that if they sneeze or cough, they're not going to get their gack on me in the subway or whatever, right? And I was like, man, that'd be so cool. Hopefully this takes off. Nope.
But it was
Wrong.
it was also related to like the air pollution that they have there, which we don't have here. I thought that was the reason mostly that they did that.
Every time I've been there and I've talked to people about it, they've said it's, you know, if people are sick, they
Brett, I know you were trying to be even keeled about it, but like one of the people that I saw on my flight wearing the N95 at first, she first of all took it off to eat and put it back on, but also took it off just to hang out. Like she took it off for at least an hour.
So it wasn't like she like wore it there not knowing what the policy was and then removed it when she's done.
And then put it back on when we were about to leave the plane. It was like,
dude,
why?
this is one of those things
What
where,
is the reason?
but at the same time, I'm also one of those people, it's like, I wouldn't want to be the person who goes there and like talks to her about it.
I wasn't going to say anything. But
I could probably guess why. So she's probably seen stuff about how the actual air in airplanes is filtered, and so she's like, okay, if I wear it when I'm in the airport, when there's a bunch of people around, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Once I get on the plane, it's just those people. The air's circulated, and then when I get off the plane, I would be willing to bet anything. That's the logic.
I mean, that's
logic.
That's putting a lot of a lot of logic to.
We've got
to
one
that idea.
from Lord Crimson TV. As a longtime Spotify listener but first time watcher, that cringe hits harder. Yikes! ? P.S. Thanks for making my long truck drives more bearable.
I love to see it. Anytime I get to hear
welcome.
from people who watch or listen at work, that is a huge compliment. So thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it, man. And do you want to do another cringe, or are we going straight to cue to the day?
What else do we have?
We
for
had
cringe?
two. We had the Melissa McCarthy with the makeup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Disney just continues to wow me
I'm
with like
muting this 'cause I don't
their
know if we're gonna-
rage bait marketing for The Little Mermaid. This time, showing how they did Melissa McCarthy's makeup for Ursula,
Yeah.
and just skip to the end result here. If you look at it, it's just bad. It's just really bad. Like, even for a drag queen, that would be the lowest possible standard.
I really don't know how I feel about the whole like entirely painted on eyebrows thing.
I mean, they could have done it right. As if that's what they were going for, if they were going for drag queen, then they could have done it correctly. But this was just a shitty job.
Why didn't they get Lizzo to play Ursula?
Good point.
That would have made way more sense.
Good point. Or an actual drag queen, which was what I thought they were going to do.
There you go. All right. And we've got a couple of cue to the days to wash away the cringe, guys. Remember, submit them to PCC Pets, hashtag PCC Pets on Twitter. Tag in me or the show. That way it gets to me quicker. This is from Levi on Twitter. He says, this is Rowena with her boyfriend, Hulk Hogan. Hulk was a wrestling buddy to Snuggle Buddy. I had one of these when I was young, the little mini
Rowena.
wrestlers. Yeah.
Now I'm losing it again because one of the characters in She Said was named Rowena.
There you go. And then we got a couple more. This was resubmitted to me. This is from LMT Linda Bean 09 on Twitter. It says, my daughter swinging her chicken Boots. This is a daily occurrence and Boots loves it. That's our dog Blue in the background. Whole family.
Cute.
That's a chicken. It's amazing. And we'll do one or two more. Oh, I love this one. So this is Harvey Dent, named from the villain because of her split face. She was dumped and moved into our yard to rid us of a gopher problem. Then we lured her into the house with lunch meat. Now she's 9, giant, and spoiled.
Cats can kill gophers?
Apparently, I guess. It's from Gina Davis at Agent Verona on Twitter. So thank you. That is a good looking cat too. I like it.
Yeah, I like the split.
Oh. That's a big boy.
I like the split coloring on the face.
Yep, it's Harvey Dent. All right. I say we just go ahead and get started, right? So, guys, before we do that, could you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? We have passed 60,000 subscribers, so thank you for that very much. Remember, as you've seen throughout the show, all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will answer them or read them right then and there, and then we will do our best to get right back on topic. So let's go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. So, adult film star Mia Khalifa, retired adult film star Mia Khalifa, most famously known for doing an adult film scene while wearing a hijab, is speaking at the Oxford Union about diversity and inclusion and acceptance and all the buzzwords that you've ever heard before.
So not to talk about the consequences of being a porn star, not to talk about having a fatwa out against her.
Which would have been the one thing, it seems like it would have been the most interesting thing to actually talk about.
Not about anything actually interesting, just diversity and virtue signaling.
Buzzwords.
That's it.
Buzzwords.
Literally talking about what you can hear and read all over the internet. Nothing original about those opinions. It's not like she was like, oh, this is all BS.
She's just saying the approved opinion. There's nothing original about her. And okay, what is this world that we're living in? This topsy-turvy world where Martha Stewart is on Sports Illustrated, a transgender person is on Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover.
And Megan Fox, to be fair, and the Brooke. I still want to know what the
Bad
Brooke
Baby and Mia Khalifa are talking at Oxford Union.
Yeah.
What do these institutions stand for? What do these cultural
Mary,
things stand for?
It's not
anymore.
It's not a long walk from here's your Taylor Swift college course to here's your
and
Mia
your
Khalifa
Beyonce.
and your Beyonce college course to here's your Mia Khalifa commencement
But not
speech.
just an academic institution, but just a smaller cultural touchstone like Sports Illustrated's swimsuit catalog has now been corrupted when it didn't even mean anything all that impressive in the first place. Why is it that we need to dig into every little dig their claws in every little thing?
I would disagree.
Everything.
Do you want to know why?
Before
Do you
that,
wanna tell us why?
before you answer, I would say that I think you might be underestimating like the cultural relevance of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue back in the day. We'll talk about that.
I mean,
more.
what are the consequences of it? Like, how is it consequential to our culture? Who ends up on
I
that?
would say that it is because you're talking about how we've degraded and eliminated the concept of beauty from Western society in a lot of ways, and we've uglied society up. Well, the Sports
Are we
Illustrated.
going to talk about that next?
In
more
a bit,
so? Yeah.
a bit, yeah. So, okay, go ahead. Why?
Well, because it's to corrupt the existing culture, like we talked about yesterday. So you weren't here. I was talking about the way that that socialists that are like ideologically socialists, not the economic socialists, but the ideological socialists, they look at a capitalist society or a liberal society, and they say, well, look, the parents teach the kids how to be good liberals, right? And then the kids teach their kids how to be good liberals. So, and the ways they do that are in schools and with television shows and the culture in that country or whatever, the society that they're looking to corrupt. So what you do is you break the reproduction of the society by instilling new values into the children. You do that through schools and through media, and you don't have to get them all. You only have to get 10% and then get 10% again and get 10% again and get 10% again. And then eventually you get to a point where you have a critical mass of people that are essentially activist revolutionaries, where they start getting into your HR departments, and
It's the most dangerous place to have these people end up to
Absolutely.
is middle management.
They get into your HR departments, and then they start hiring friends that have the similar opinions. You get 3 or 4 of them in the HR department, and then you go ahead and you find someone that gets a lawsuit because of discrimination of any way, and then you change the culture of that business. So this is literally how they change the culture, and the intent is to stop producing liberal people and start producing people that are totalitarian socialists.
I'm not sure I'm on board with that part, just because wokeism has this like never-ending like tsunami of neoliberalism. It is a liberal ideology.
It's not a liberal. It's not
more
a
than
liberal.
anything.
It is not a liberal ideology. It comes from.
We're gonna fundamentally disagree on that
from the
literally
left.
forever. So I don't know if that's worth arguing
It's
about.
from the left. It is not liberal. It is because it's illiberal because they want. It's
Okay, but
illiberal
what the
because they
left
want
and
to-
right originally meant did refer to it, liberalism.
Traditionalism versus
was and is a left wing.
liberalism. No, because
School of thought.
No,
Like,
liberalism is not a left wing school of thought.
It's
Liberalism.
It's based on like political liberation. Like liberation movements are
Liberation
liberal.
is not the same thing as individual liberty. You're talking about John Locke versus Rousseau, right? You're talking about the French Revolution, the French Revolution, which is liberation.
This is pointless.
This is philosophy. This is not. This is
because
not.
we're talking about
What is that would
There's
actually be
English
more at home. This
liberalism.
would be more at home in the second topic today. This would be more at home in the second topic. We'll come back to it. I think it's more interesting to talk about whether the idea here is that back in the day, the people you brought to speak at these events would be cultural leaders that you wanted people to look up to. Now, this is inherently divisive to bring on people that are not someone you look up to. The divide on the comments for this section can't be seen because they turned off the comments. But you can, however, see the like versus dislike ratio. This video has about 30,000 views, which is actually for a channel with 1.979 million subscribers and somebody with the clout that she has online. That's actually quite a small amount, but it's got 544 upvotes to 4,200 downvotes. So
I think it's because Mia Khalifa also is just not as culturally relevant as she used to be. And that song, Hit or Miss, I guess they never miss, huh? Literally buried her. It was over for her at that point.
Was it really? That's what did her in?
Yeah, that was it. R.I.P. But she's still like hanging on for dear life.
She's still on OnlyFans, if I understand
Yes.
correctly, right?
No,
Yeah, so
listen,
that's why I
she's-
said she's not retired.
No.
Yeah, she's on OnlyFans and also has reinterpreted her entire past and her story as one of victimhood.
Yeah.
That she was just some impressionable young girl who didn't know the consequences of what she was doing.
Because they want to up the age in which you're allowed to be responsible for your own actions, because they don't want anybody to take any responsibility for their own actions.
Yeah. She did professionally produced porn for a studio for like 3 months total.
Oh.
When she was 21, which is a lot older than a lot of people.
She's an adult. She's an adult. She made her decisions.
After getting a breast augmentation when she worked at Burger King, which reeks of sugar daddy.
Oh yeah, no, it was like who was it that we had here had that discussion? There's like he had this whole discussion about like women in the economy of breast augmentation. Like there's a certain level
That's
in
like
which
tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and
isn't
but
it?
they were talking about like the best women will never pay for it themselves, and the dumbest men will pay for it when they can't. Like the dumbest men will pay for it for a woman when they can't actually afford it.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing. Like, look, it's one thing if you're like making like 6 figures
Exactly.
and you're like, all right, sweetheart, I can cover this. It's totally different if you're like, I make 50 grand a year and I think she really likes me. So man, if I can just put this on a card and finance it at 25% on top of my Camaro.
She's also starting a jewelry company, which is the name is literally Arabic for devil. And when the guy asked her like, what is the philosophy, what is the ethos behind this company, she goes, it was an FU to most of the men in the Middle East. And the guy's like, okay, give her a round of applause. He like stopped it right there and
Isn't
moved
that
it to the.
Islamophobic?
You would think it would be Islamophobic, would it not?
And cultural appropriation to
Yeah.
wear a hijab.
Well-
in a context in which most women who wear hijabs would never want it to be
that's
sexualized.
But that's become a movement in colleges too. They've turned the hijab into a weird type of status symbol amongst kids in colleges.
I guess so.
Ideologically,
The West is weird.
Well,
She
the West-
posted this like bleeding heart caption on Instagram about the experience, and by the way, dressed up as some like slutty Halloween version
Slutty Halloween
of an
librarian.
Oxford
Yes,
student
I've got the.
Oh my God.
with the school colors.
She's
and
that
stuff.
skinny.
I approve of her outfit.
I don't.
She said, yesterday speaking to the Oxford Student Union was one of those life experiences where I was fully aware of how lucky I was to be living it the entire time and trying my best not to let a singular moment go for granted. Thank you so much at Oxford Union for the opportunity to speak at such a historic building and organization. I'm humbled and inspired by your passion to instill genuine change in the world and for curating such a diverse list of speakers at your union.
When does
What you do is
inclusivity come?
incredible and important, and I'm honored to have been on your floor. The imposter syndrome was real. You are an imposter. This is an imposter syndrome. I keep saying it. Even though I was there to talk about boundaries and confidence and my life experiences for which you can judge all you want, but I'm at Oxford for what I've done with my life since then.
No.
Well, actually, no, I would disagree. I would say that she is actually there for what she's. If all she did was the scene and then she never did anything after that, she wouldn't have been culturally relevant enough to go to Oxford. So I actually think she's right there.
But what if she actually had a message of like taking accountability and did something constructive with her life after doing porn instead of just doing more porn and complaining about how people don't treat her well?
Her titties are literally hanging out.
She and she's wearing a corset.
Her
and,
exit strategy for porn was to make more porn.
She went
Are you
into,
kidding me?
She went into sports. She went into like sports reporting after the fact.
She
and then,
became like a-
and then like relaunched.
Yeah,
after the
she
word-
relaunched
yeah.
her OnlyFans basically and claims that that's her empowerment journey.
Yep.
Now, like she wasn't empowered before because they didn't pay her enough, and she was too impressionable and young to know better.
That argument is going to work on a lot of people. The one that's like stories like hers, where they're like, I made very little money. But I can make more money on my own. And what a lot of them, it looks like, are going to end up doing is like, look, they'll do those scenes for these big companies because it will be good exposure for them, and then they will immediately go on their own and make the money they want to make.
I know for a fact, right? I know how many records All That Remains is sold. I know how much money I have made for other people, and I know how much money I have made. I guarantee that my sob story would be just as sobby as hers
Probably more.
if I had bigger boobs and long, pretty hair. Like, sincerely. Like, I'm sure that their people have made a lot of money. I have made I have made millions of dollars and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars for other people. Yeah. So I get it. I feel your pain.
The record industry probably has just more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's
I've heard book publishing too. In a lot of ways, like those advances that an author gets are nothing compared to what comes into.
Now there was no actual carnal knowledge that had to be given up by me to have that, but still, like there was a whole lot of advantage taken of the situation.
You have a song called "Carnal Knowledge."
There's actually a Van Halen record called "For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge."
The tagline that they've put under the Oxford Union is "People who shape our world." And I brought that up before the show, and Brett was like, "Oh, well, this is actually who's shaping our world."
It is, unfortunately.
But is it though, or are these just people getting artificially propped up who have no real influence over?
No, because if that was true, then the numbers of the people doing this wouldn't be multiplying. But the numbers of people doing this are multiplying.
Do you think Bad Barbie like shapes our culture, or is that just like watching a train wreck? Now, granted, she makes a boatload of money, obviously, but I really don't feel like that is. I can't imagine people actually being like, she's hot. She started off as a train
wreck when she was like 13, and then people glommed onto that because they have like such a need for, I don't know, drama and negativity that they latch onto someone who's going to give them that entertainment value.
Yes,
then she's progressed into adulthood now.
I just want to know, like, what kind of person thinks she's attractive?
Is Bad Baby any worse than a Desperate Housewives or any of these people?
It depends on which Desperate Housewife you're looking at.
Fair point. I'm just like that culture, and this is one of the things I actually do want to push back on. A lot of times we talk about how they don't care. It seems like they don't care about beauty, and they don't care about like the beauty of women anymore, and they're pushing these narratives where it's your Lizzos and your Melissa McCarthy's and everything. But if you go into the reality TV space, there's still plenty of hot women.
Sure.
Older women, yes, but that it feels like you're still allowed to be the guilty those are still allowed to be guilty pleasures, right? In that industry.
What do you mean?
Reality TV. Beautiful women, glamour, that type of stuff still exists in that world.
I guess other than if you're on TLC, which is ugliness.
There's a $20 one right there.
From Because Reasons. Brett, are you aware Mia was walking her dog caught on camera? She picked it up and ate it.
No, she didn't.
No, that was fake news, right?
What?
No, look, she didn't eat it. She picked it up with her mask.
Yeah.
And then threw the poop out and the mask back on.
No, she didn't.
That I saw.
No, she didn't.
I saw this.
That's not true.
She did not eat it. Well, that's where this guy got the idea that she ate it. She didn't eat it.
Okay, but that's also like almost just as bad.
Almost.
It's like those are the type of stories that are so bad it's hard to believe they're real.
No, it's not.
I am looking.
Possibly.
Mia Khalifa.
That's disgusting. Also,
given the stuff she probably had to do for work, I'm guessing.
It's really sad that.
Oh God.
Is it true? Did you fact check?
Use his face. Yeah, the U.S. YouTube. Okay, here we go.
Did she fake it? Did she just fake it for clicks?
I don't know.
Yikes!
But
I really hope so. I hope that didn't actually happen. That's
Gross.
disgusting.
I mean, I can't.
But I don't know. COVID insanity went pretty far. I just think it's sad that an institution such as Oxford that used to stand for.
It looks like she turned it around.
But that's still
fine,
awful.
Look,
this has existed since 1823. Oxford Union has, and this is an institution that used to stand for nobility, exclusivity, and a class of elites that, like it or not, societies need to have, that used to be better than the one we have now, which is basically we've sold off our culture to mega corporations. And its original tagline, I guess, or slogan is here in Latin, right on its crest, Dominus Illuminatio Mea, which is the Lord is my light.
Well,
and this is what this institution stands for now.
It's not
glorifying porn stars.
It's not uncommon from what, like, when we were looking into this originally, was like when we were looking into this, and then before when we were looking into like Beyonce like Beyonce classes at colleges and stuff like this. Just the amount of stuff that they're charging you for.
Too many people are going to college.
There are classes that, like, they were saying that there are adult film stars who go and give speeches at liberal arts divisions talking about the benefits of non-monogamous marriage.
I said this on the show before, and I think that you balked at this statement, but I stand by it. Colleges should have stayed exclusive to elite rich people. Academia was a very exclusive institution that was meant for networking, and
how about we settle for
also
the middle?
There's no middle.
We settle for the middle, and we take all the funding from the government out of it.
You
so
open
that
the floodgates, and this is what happens.
You take government subsidies out of it so that it cannot be just overpriced and then have degrees given to everyone, so that the people who have to make the decision to go actually have to put some forethought into it, rather than just
out of the bag.
Well, you can't go back on something like that. But
blame the boomers.
After
and that's
all this,
true
56% of our population in the U.S. is still functionally illiterate.
Yeah, blame the boomers, and the reason you blame the boomers is because the boomers assumed have a better life than me meant don't work with your hands.
Yes, yeah, and that propaganda has been put into media for decades.
And
where does that come from?
Comes from the boomers
is it
thinking,
the Great Depression?
Well, partially. The boomers,
Giving my son or daughter a better life.
Actually were born after the Great Depression.
So think of like a bunch of people who say like, oh, I worked in the coal mines, I want to give my son a better life. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that he gets a desk job sending emails all day? Is that a better life? It's a less physically strenuous life. Is it better? I don't know.
That was the impression. People thought if you're working with your hands and working a strenuous job, that is inferior to people that are working in, and in the 50s and 60s, you're talking about like white collar jobs where dudes that were inside, like hundreds of dudes inside of a room, like doing drafting. Yeah. Like it took 1,000 dudes to do like the plans for a building or the plans for, like you had to do that stuff with your hands and stuff, like with compasses and stuff. So it wasn't like it was everybody was getting a liberal arts degree where sociology departments were pumping out commies just year after year after year after year in all sorts of like navel gazing disciplines. Like there is no reason to have so many people being pumped out of colleges that studied queer theory.
It's where the joke about underwater basket weaving comes from.
Yes, basically. Absolutely.
Like a degree, a pointless degree. It just means pointless degree.
But the results now, we have all these people that have degrees and they're so upset and they're angry at like the system because their parents said go to school, go to a good school, get a good job, and it was a lie because a good job is a job that pays you well, that you enjoy, not necessarily a job that puts you in a cubicle in New York City somewhere on the 50th floor or whatever. It's like maybe you would be happier doing something with your hands that actually like produced a lot of money.
And not to mention they've demonized how well paid. Like they don't realize how well a lot of those jobs pay, right?
Dudes that
like my brother's an electrician, and like it's. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like this is Bill. He got a degree in liberal arts and he's 80 grand in debt. This is Kyle. He got a degree. He went to a 2-year college to be an electrician. Kyle is shutting off Bill's electricity.
Yeah.
Like I saw a tweet just this morning from a woman who said that her grandfather was a mailman and they afforded vacations every year, built his own house, gave inheritance to his kids, all of that. And the boomers are still going to say, oh, it's because mailmen these days are just working hard. They're not working hard enough and they're buying too many lattes. But anyway, I went to Oxford Union's Twitter.
Mia Khalifa needs to stop buying so many damn lattes. That's what she needs to do. She wouldn't have to have an OnlyFans if she would just make her coffee at home. Get some cast brew coffee.
What does Dave Ramsey have to say about OnlyFans? So Oxford Union's Twitter bio says, the last bastion of free speech. After they turned off comments on one of their own speaker series.
Yeah.
I don't even think they did that for Bad Baby, but I think it's because Bad Baby is more likable than Mia Khalifa is. She's just she victimizes herself at every turn, like based on her own adult life decisions.
Yeah. And people just don't like whiners. Like, they don't like whiners.
No.
Like, nobody, like, it's so
No.
weird that we live in a culture where, like, there's such a status given to victimhood, when the fact of the matter is that normal people don't like it. Normal people, and this is one, like, I say this to Mary all the time off air, I'm like, have the dignity to suffer in silence. Like everybody else. When you're struggling, boo-hoo. Like, I'm obviously being overtly hyperbolic here, but I'm saying that, like, there is a certain amount of grace and gratitude that you can find in yourself if you learn to go through what you're suffering through without having to externalize it to everyone constantly.
We used to live in a different
stoicism.
extreme where, like, war veterans weren't able to talk about their experiences and lived in pain their whole lives. Now we're in a situation where someone was mean to you on the internet and you're going to air out that grievance for years on end.
That's kind of what I think people mean when they say, like, a feminized society. Like, you looking at, like, generally things that are, stereotypically masculine. Usually it's stoicism, dudes that will kind of, internalize things. And whereas it's a good idea to have an outlet for things that are bothering you, that doesn't mean you just gush all the time. The country could use some masculinity and some stoicism, because all of the positives that come from masculinity and something like stoicism have been almost spun to be negatives and bad things, and they're not always.
And an idea of the scale of that is, like, I'm somebody who says frequently, like, I wish I could be more stoic on a regular basis, but even I understand that there is a limit to how much you need to externalize what's bothering you for fear of alienating everyone around you.
No one cares, and, like, it's, as much as it's like, it sucks to say that, it's like, unless you're dealing with your actual close friends, your personal friends, or your family, no one gives a crap. Your people you work with,
but they might. They might. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Even if they care, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah, and your coworkers, they have their own lives that they're dealing with. Don't make your problems their problems as well, if you don't have to.
All right, Mary, got anything else on this one? Was there anything, like, you look like you got something good there? Is there something you're looking at?
I'm just looking at the comment section on it.
Is it ruthless?
They're saying, what positions is she going to teach the students at Oxford?
The thing is, like,
at least the humor.
Is she going to teach them to make a career choice and then bash it when it doesn't go their way?
The jokes have already been made, because all the stuff that you could possibly ever, like, all the deviant stuff that you could possibly teach the kids, they want to teach it in high school, never mind in college now.
Or elementary school.
Yeah.
All right. We got some super chats there. Let's go to
Disgusting
super
kink.
chats.
Andrew Jacobs said, the way Mary looks on her entire 15 hours of whatever, eye roll emoji. 15 hours. It wasn't quite 15 hours.
You did, like, have, like, the straight face for a lot of it, like you're taking in what they're saying and like preparing your comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I didn't say enough. I don't know. Spaghetti Warrior said, Mary, superb job on the Whatever podcast. The young ladies need good examples. Thank you. It's wonderful to see. Brett, you're pretty cool too.
I get a question for you. Do you think that, and thank you, Spaghetti Warrior, do you think that that approach, like, I don't know if there is an approach if you're their age, a lot of these girls, right? They're in their early 20s.
Yeah.
By the time you get there, I don't know if there's any approach that, whether it's your more forceful pushing back or a gentler pushing back from somebody else that might be closer to what they would call a friend. I don't know if there's an approach that gets
Everything
them to change
has been tried.
Yes.
If you come at them with a positive, uplifting message, a loving message, you are mocked because you come off as weak to them.
Yes.
If you come at them with something more forceful and firm, where you state your beliefs and you argue for them and you debate them on their points and hold them accountable, then you're just a big meanie and you're arguing in bad faith because you want to make fun of them. So there's no winning position for people who are there not to come to a point of understanding, but to promote their OnlyFans. There
is no point to going on those podcasts if it is not to endlessly mock and embarrass your political opponents. That is what, because
they do that to themselves.
You're not going to convince them.
Nope.
You're not, and like the chances of convincing them are very, very, very slim. So what you need to do is make them look like fools in front of the audience. And
what
that's
it is
what
in the battle of ideas is for the audience. It's
Yeah, it's
not
what
for
the
them.
audience-
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, like when we're talking podcasts, I mean, the people in that sphere, this isn't like network television where people are flipping through and you may change the minds of somebody who just happens upon that podcast. I don't know how many people, I was 4 million subscribers. I'm guessing the people watching are there because he's found a business model where people go to see exactly what happens on that show.
When clips from that show go viral, that audience is way bigger than whoever is watching live and whatever,
okay, yeah.
whoever is in the room.
Yeah.
So there was a clip of a recent guest, Lila Rose, who's a pro-life activist on the show, and she got into an argument with a more like red pill type of guy, like manosphere type of guy, and called him out for saying that men should have like multiple concubines or multiple girlfriends, but just one wife. And she was like, well, I mean, she like used his own framework to argue for it. In fact, she said like you've got control over all these other areas of your life, like you work out, you do business, and you focus on self-improvement. Why can't you just stick to one woman and just be loyal to her? And he was incredibly aggravated by that, and the clip went viral because he so obviously was just totally trounced by her. Clips like that are what make it worthy to go on that show.
I mean, that makes more like a lot of
More than the guy in the room with her actually thinking about it, which he's unlikely to self-reflect.
the short clips always get more views anyways. You reach more people that way.
I mean, and that kind of thing, like the whatever podcast, everyone knows that there are going to be people on the whatever podcast that have decidedly conservative views, and they're going to have shamelessly and full well thought out conservative views. So when you get on people like, OnlyFans girls that are there thinking that they're going to promote their OnlyFans, because that's what they do. That's the niche that guys got. Like, we'll allow any girls on, come here, we'll bring you here for free. You can blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, it's a big thing, so I can promote my OnlyFans. Maybe people will check it out. And they end up getting clowned and looking like fools. But there's an endless supply of women that'll do it. Yep. I mean, I've seen a lot of adult actresses on there that are or adult actresses that you're just like, okay, that definitely didn't help you in any way other than putting your face there and letting a lot of people know that you have OnlyFans. That's it. So.
Well, to them, I mean, I suppose then the smartest of the bunch would be able to rationalize, maybe I'm not very smart, but it'll be great self-promotion.
The one girl who was on with me, I think she deleted her Instagram afterwards.
Okay.
Wow.
So
I mean,
people just don't expect to get pushback.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Destiny didn't go on for an OnlyFans and stuff. He went on there to actually defend ideas and looking to like own the cons. And I don't think that he got any of the clips that he wanted. Yeah. I don't think there was any times when he really got anyone that was conservative, because you've got a bunch of conservative people being like, no, legit, like, what's the whole polyamory thing? And it's like everyone sees through it. It's like, yeah, his girlfriend likes to bang chicks, or his wife likes to bang chicks, and Destiny likes to bang other chicks. It's just
other dudes mainly.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Like a lot of other, well, whatever, good for him. But it's like, it's just self-indulgent stuff that so it's just.
Yep. Let's do 2 more, and then we will move on.
Okay. Deuce Boogaloo said, did y'all see Dove, the soap company? Yes. Trying to start Gamergate 2.0. Why do all these institutions want to deprive us of hot girls?
It started in the NASCAR scene, ladies and gentlemen.
What did Dove
do? Was Dove the one? No, it was Adidas is the one that did the ad with the guy, right?
Dove is, no, the soap company.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're trying to start Gamergate.
People were talking about it on Twitter. I didn't delve into it. But the thing with
what does soap have to do with video games?
but the Adidas one was the funny one, because the Adidas one is like the guy's still got chest hair and they've got him modeling women's swimsuits. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Fucking stupid.
Chianik said, happy to see back, Mary. Although I'm new to the channel, you make me not want to pull my hair out, unlike half the guests featured on whatever.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you don't do that.
Mary.
What?
$100.
Oh, thank you, Ertez. He said, friends I used to know hits me up and looks at me like I'm weird for skipping out on college and going military. They get real smug until I tell them I work in IT, got my job doing what is this?
Thank you.
Prac app and cert.
Thank you, Ian.
Also, for anyone in VA, I'm sorry.
Sorry, we can wait. Party! All you gotta do is...
For anyone in VA, I'm...
Party!
Okay. Anyone in VA, I'm finna die this on Sunday at 18.1 mile run.
That's a hell of a run.
Damn.
I've got a friend who's training for a new marathon. They're a Peloton person, and they're like they love Peloton.
Peloton.
A
person.
I call them Peloton people. It's a thing. It's a
cult.
cult. It's the cult of Peloton. I just Googled like Dove controversial, and there's like I didn't know a soap company could have more than one controversial ad or problem, but there's like one every couple of years. Just proves to you that the rage that we feel most of the time, guys, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment. In fact, you know what? Let's just get right into it, shall we?
Yes.
Let's talk about Miller Lite, because you know what? It's a day that ends in Y, so there's something that everyone has to boycott, and there's something that everyone has to complain about. 3 months ago, they ran this commercial.
There was this
it's a virtue
so-called
signal.
female comedian in it.
I mean, women
this is a
being
new
funny.
commercial,
Am I
isn't
right?
it?
It's 3 months old.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I guess people are just revisiting it now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
believe it or not, these commercials can come out, and the world keeps turning before you knew that you needed to boycott it.
What is Women's History Month? Is that March?
Yes.
So it was in March.
Yeah.
So it wasn't 3 months ago.
I think they said it was for Women's History Month.
Yeah,
So
so
it was
it's like
2 months
more
ago.
like 2 months
2
ago.
months ago, yeah.
Not that long ago. Yeah, this so-called female comedian did an ad for Miller Lite where they had her walk through all of their old advertisements which objectified and sexualized women unfairly, and she explained that they had like a buyback program essentially, or maybe they could go door to door. I don't know. Like they could do it like Australia did it with guns and just melt them all down. They had like a buyback program for all of their different old advertisements with women in them, scantily clad women, and they burned them in effigy and used this material as compost for female farmers who have breweries.
Beer brewers, yeah, female beer brewers. Well, on one hand, I think Mary, you would probably see this as kind of a win. The first part to be kind of a win, right? Because they're going for modesty again. They're just going for modesty in the vein of identity politics, not in the vein of actually wanting women to value their body.
Where's the modesty in a woman? I'm not saying
I'm being hyperbolic.
I'm not saying I'm innocent in this respect, but where is the modesty in a woman like Ilana Glazer, this comedian, monologuing with the word shit over and over again for like 15 minutes?
The physical, but
ending every sentence with the word shit. What is so modest about that? We've only replaced one form of immodesty for another form.
Yeah.
There's still no humility involved here.
But this is why we talk about we are in a weird time to be alive, where we're simultaneously more degenerate than we've ever been, but also more puritanical than we've ever been in other respects. We are both living in a world where you're supposed to celebrate all forms of degeneracy as long as it comes from a culture that is considered to be, whether it's LGBTQIA, and that's whatever your thoughts on that are, whether it's polyamory, whether it's all of these things, what others would call degeneracy, but now we're also weirdly puritanical at the same time. And I can't really explain why that is in a lot of respects.
Because there is a shift in the culture as to what modesty is for and when it is good and why it is good.
Yeah.
So
I want to make a point here that I don't know if you guys are going to agree with. The culture we had when Miller Lite was using scantily clad women in their advertisements, where sex sold, and it still does, that climate could have never just continued into perpetuity. Like, that is something, just like when we talk about the 90s, I reiterate, the 90s was a decade that could have only been a decade. It couldn't have been like that forever. And to believe that we just went wrong somewhere and we could still bring it back, we could still restore it back to that and just have a time of cultural harmony forever is foolish. That was a time, like this time where the sexual revolution was just at everyone's comfort point. It could not continue. It was always on a trajectory to end up where we are now, inevitably. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I do.
We couldn't have stayed comfortable forever because we were always on the way to this.
There had been no internet technology. I think that obviously life events inform much of, like world events inform much of how these decades play out. A lot of what you see in movies in the 80s is informed by what happened in the Cold War. Right?
Yeah.
So different things that go on throughout history inform how our behavior changes.
Yeah.
Like you say, there's racial harmony in the 90s, but as the 2000s and digital communication comes into place.
No, it's not just digital communication. Because there's underlying philosophy that caused the derailment of the liberal project. So what you're essentially saying is the 90s were very liberal, right? That was when the West was really kind of liberalizing beyond the conservative kind of things that kind of had the conservative tone that was from the 80s, right? Then you had a lot of leftist philosophy happening in schools. So you had queer theory start being generated in the 90s. You had a lot of third wave feminism, and that stuff went into the colleges of education, and that stuff got taught to kids. So, and all that stuff is illiberal. I mean, I know that we come back to this friction point, but that stuff is illiberal because it doesn't look at the individual, it looks at the group. It doesn't look at individual liberty, it looks at group liberation. And the point is, Mary got a 21.
Oh, let's see. From Deuce Boogaloo, Brett, check your most recent tweet. I linked a video of Dove, quote unquote, taking a stand against hot girls in video games.
I did see this.
Super
Holy crap.
cringe and random. Maybe we should save that for tomorrow.
Yeah,
to talk about with our special guest.
Yes, we've got a special guest
We
tomorrow.
have a very special guest tomorrow.
It is a weird thing now, and we'll come back to that. Like how marketing departments, it really is the scourge of these. Like just the Jesse Kelly video. Jesse Kelly did a video on the H&K thing where he goes, "Stop hiring Democrats.
Yes.
Stop hiring women."
Yes.
He's like, you are setting yourself up for failure
Yes.
when you do this. And I don't know if I'm necessarily saying that's 110% true, because maybe in a good context that a lot of good people might not get a job if you go based on that criteria. But we're watching these companies implode because some middle manager who runs a social media profile ends up ruining it, or convinces some mid-level bureaucrat that this advertisement would be a good idea. Right? Like nobody in their right mind who's actually connected to real people in the real world looks at a Dove ad like that, or looks at the Adidas ad like that and says, this is going to reach large swaths of people. It's not.
But apparently, since this ad is already 2 months old, and Bud Light had to happen for us to go back in time and pay attention to it, nobody batted an eye at it. Nobody had a problem with it.
And that's the thing, like, right, we every day the culture war drains on people, right? And there's something new that they have to be angry about all the time. I'm kind of lucky in a lot of respects. Like, I see these things and I check out. Dude, like, I'm like, yes, I get it. I get all of the socio-political and the cultural ramifications of everything. Like when Tim will break down Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light's response, Miller Lite, their response, he's right in most of these respects. But as somebody who's just a normal dude, like, I can't bring myself to care more beyond just the fact that, like, I understand, but I'm just like,
There is the obvious counterpoint that all of these women who were in Miller Lite ads in like the 80s in bikinis knew exactly what they were doing, what they were selling, and that they, yes, had agency over their bodies. But I don't really know what was going on in their circumstances, and I don't care because it's irrelevant now. And sex is still sold today. Like,
yes.
that's not a new thing.
You go to 2Fab or any of these, the trashier websites, half the content is woke garbage headlines.
And it's
the
like,
other half
look at
is
Jenna Ortega in a
like,
swimsuit.
Yeah, like,
it's all over the place.
Like,
you cannot escape it. This is a hyper-sexualized culture. And to act like we've progressed on that in any sense,
first thing I look up
foolish.
on Giant Freaking Robot, see Kate Hudson stunning in killer heels.
Yeah.
Like, that, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. And all of that is because we, I think, are just like starved of actual human connection.
You can blame technology for that in a lot of respects.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, look at Miley Cyrus sunbathing.
Yeah.
Like,
in skin tight.
we're so like
Daily
lonely.
Daily Mail, like one of the things, like everybody loves Daily Mail for headlines. I can't do Daily Mail because 90% of it is like, look at so and so shine in this outfit. I'm like, I don't give a crap about that. I don't want to have to slag through like a bunch of. Thank you, Ian. I don't have to go through a bunch of crap just to get to the few articles that actually matter.
Anyway,
Racist part.
the reason we brought this woman up is because
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten to it yet.
She appeared on Stephen Colbert and told him the following. Quote, I have been thinking, Stephen, that you are a really model white man. You are the good version of one because our president is almost the #1 white guy in America because he's the president. But I'm also like, Stephen Colbert is. You've just been revealing yourself to us over the years in a way.
There's that whiteness is
And then when you
sin.
pan to
Yeah,
his
well, I mean,
face, he like is eating you up that
She's-
validation. He
she's-
just loves
there's
it.
nothing-
She literally called him the house N-word. Yeah. You're
one of the good. You're one of the good ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a slur.
And they talk about model minority being a stereotype.
And I will tell you this. Go back and watch any network or basic cable show for the last 20 or 30 years. You will see how this has been groomed into the mindsets of white men in America.
Stephen Colbert is white, but he's not that kind of white.
Yes. In this case, like you go back and you watch old shows and there's all of these things. And here's the thing. When it was done, it was usually done in a way that's supposed to be a lighthearted joke where it's like, white people, am I right? Like, and that was done in a way where if you're secure in who you are, you can take a joke. Oftentimes, they're actually playing on tropes that were real. My favorite example is like on the show Arrow, they do an episode where after Oliver Queen gets arrested, he throws like a jail party and John Diggle comes in, who's black, and goes, white people. Like only white people would throw a party about going to jail, right? Like he's right about that. But that thought process that, aw shucks, look at whitey, that has been perpetrated in our culture, in media for 30 years, and it is why so many of the younger white men in America don't feel weird. If anything, they feel validated when they get told, you're one of the good white people. It has been done almost as a psyop.
I think that type of like, I don't know, like light-hearted mocking.
Casual racism.
Yes.
I don't know. When you call it racist, when you call something racist, it implies hatred, and I don't think that recognizing differences between people and making jokes about it is racist.
The example I gave is not
that,
meant to be negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you mean that in the way that, like, in the 90s, anyone could be fair game for jokes, then I don't think that that's racist.
But that was gone by the mid-2010s.
That
If
is
you're,
gone.
I don't think anyone is ready for the response, the reaction from Zoomers who, especially like white male Zoomers who have been completely inundated with vitriol for their immutable characteristics since birth.
So I've been complaining about you, and you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, critical race theory, and then you have the left saying that doesn't exist. That's only political stuff that comes out in colleges. And da, 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 da. The point of critical race theories is to awaken a critical racial consciousness. What that means is just to see race and see the distinctions in between the races and see race before everything else. That makes people racist. And you're going to get a certain percentage of the white people that are going to hear white people are bad all the time, and they're going to say, I don't care, you're just going to call me bad for being white, so I don't care what you call me. And you're going to literally make racist people. In the 90s and aughts, there was a significantly, like the American population had decided that we no longer thought of racism as acceptable, right? Just generally, if you said that's racist, everybody thought that's bad.
Yeah.
Now, because of critical race theory and focusing on race and seeing racial differences, like we are significantly more racist because we see race more. You listen to that
critical
thing that
consciousness.
Yeah, critical consciousness. You see that, you listen to that interview that Morgan Freeman did where he's like, I'm going to stop calling you a white man. You're going to stop calling me a black man. That works generally when you don't focus on the differences. But when you've got, people being taught you have to see race and you have to talk about this whiteness and you have to talk about your blackness and your colors matter, and if you're a POC it matters, you're focusing on race so much people cannot help but see race. And when you have a population that cannot help but see race, they cannot help but be racist. You're gonna end up with more racist people. It's awful.
Guys, I know this is a little off topic, but I went to Ilana Glazer's Twitter account, and the bio just says Black Lives Matter, and then text me and then has a number.
It's like a WhatsApp.
I texted the number, and it took me to this link, and it says join the community with like a devil emoji. And I clicked on the link, and it has like a field to like add all your contact information, first, last name, gender identity, birth date, city, and email, in order to get into a.
Dude, are we about to get into Bohemian Grove?
What is this? Am I about to apply for a membership at Bohemian Grove?
Maybe that's her adrenochrome dealer.
I'm
Maybe
very
we could get
confused.
an adrenochrome dealer.
Tom Cruise is going to jump out of your phone and make you a Scientologist.
Well,
but
he's over
seriously,
there.
what is this?
He's right behind you.
There was no description of what it is or what it's about. It says, "Hi, it's Ilana. Thanks for texting me. Welcome to my community." Devil horns emoji. If you opt in, that's how we stay connected. Okay, TTYSXO.
It's literally just a farm to get your email address. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
seems like very strange.
It's
very strange.
It's almost worse. Whatever she says is one thing, but it's Stephen Colbert that makes it worse than anything, because he's modeling his behavior, and people are going to model their behavior after him. So they're going to follow suit and say, "Well, I want to be one of the good ones." Mm-hmm. That's what they want to be, and that's.
It's just like, why would you want the approval of someone this nerdy?
We've got one from Dave Gazzoli.
Just rewatched Blank Check after 25 years, and it's a shame that I can't view it with childhood innocence, but that one scene made me rethink my policy that it's never okay for a woman to only like a guy for his money. Yes. That one scene that you posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
Brett? Yeah.
Also,
that's what I thought.
Dude, all those movies back then, you go back and rewatch them now, just kind of do it with the knowledge that it could be changing how you see things. Somebody pointed out the other day.
Wow, we got two $20 ones that just popped in.
We got another one?
Two more.
Disco Jensen said the 90s and 2000s were some of the best years for race relations. You're right, Phil. CRT made people more racist than ever.
Maybe not than ever, but definitely more racist than the past.
More consciousness of it. More conscious of it.
40, probably since the 60s, 70s maybe,
And then one above that, Mary, from High Voltage 75.
Mary, do you watch or listen to PCC when you're away from the show? P.S. That's a very fair take on In-N-Out. Their quality can be hit or miss, unfortunately, and it helps to know you can order your fries a variety of ways.
Ooh, what is the variety?
What variety of ways, though?
Good and not good?
How about cooked all the way through?
What, yours were like soggy?
They're always soggy.
Okay, mine were like cardboard. They were crunchy. They
Really?
were fine, but there was nothing recognizable as potato. It wasn't even shoestring. It was just like cardboard. Yeah. No salt. There was no grease. There was no flavor. It was just not giving what it was supposed to be giving.
And I don't know if Mary watches PCC, but she did send me tons of stuff to talk about.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I sent you some of the things that you had already talked about, which means no, I was not watching PCC while I was away.
That's okay. It's you were busy. Everyone's got stuff to do. But that's also, it says there's a lot of those articles get sent out. It's like, yeah, we'll talk about the Royals, and then as soon as I set that article up, I get another one saying they didn't actually get into a near fatal car crash because
they wish.
Yeah, they would love
really,
that.
really wish.
And I
she wants to be Princess Diana so bad, it's actually sick.
Well, you know what? I've been rewatching Suits, and I say she should just go back to acting. Just take all of the lawyer roles, anything that will allow her to wear a pencil skirt to work. She'll be fine. That's all I'm saying.
Or a bandage dress.
Yes, anything like that. And the funny thing is, in that show, she's very she comes from a privileged background. In that show, Mike Ross is the one who's poor from a crappy upbringing, or not crappy upbringing, but he came from meager means, whereas her family was wealthy. So All right. I do wonder what you think about the H&K thing, Phil. Did you
Wait, what is this?
So basically, how would you describe it? So basically, their social media manager, and I only brought this up as a combination to this topic because they both kind of involve marketing departments being out of control within these companies. And H&K, Phil, how would you describe it?
So H&K's social media manager managed their social media into the ground.
Yes.
Because she had opinions
On the Miller Lite ad.
Yeah, and the problem is the opinions weren't particularly bad. It was the way that she approached them.
And maybe she should have done it on her own account, not on the H&K account.
Probably, but if it could have been done from the H&K account if she approached it differently. The point is, she was making remarks about what they call gun bunnies, which is essentially the same thing that was, girls selling beers. There is a lot of, girls that will.
Is that really bad?
By the way, those things are never going in the real world. Those things are never going away.
There are girls like that with skating.
Yes.
Why is that a bad?
It's not a bad thing unless they're doing things improper. There's a lot of safety
with
concerns
guns,
with guns.
Yes.
There's a lot of certain there. So to some extent, it can be bad. It can look bad for the industry. Some people don't like it. Some people do like it. I personally don't much care.
Taking pictures with horrible trigger discipline.
Yeah, which personally I don't much care. If they want to use, if girls want to model and sell guns, fine, go right ahead. But H&K jumped in and they're like, oh, this is an antiquated thing and we're against it and da 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 da. And
that's the problem. She said we're.
Yeah.
She likely had no approval to say we're. That's a big word to use there.
And so the gun community on Twitter, which I happen to be friendly with or possibly even a part of, took issue with this.
Yep.
And rightly so, because H&K is not particularly known for their friendliness to the civilian market in the first place.
Those Germans.
So I'm not, I'm going to leave that one alone.
She said, as an actual woman typing this, I'll use more words for you to comprehend. Using bunnies to sell products is trash marketing. Supporting women by not doing this is good.
It's I'm sorry.
As a woman,
a normal
you just sound
person,
so annoying.
A normal person looks at that and says, should I be saying this in the capacity of speaking for a company, somebody other than myself?
And then again, it's a woke response in a field that is generally hostile to woke ideas. You've got this particular woman was a fitness model, so she actually lifted weights and people were like, oh, you are using your body to blah, 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 because I don't think it's the same thing, but whatever, I don't care. They're attacking her for that. And then also the fact that, again, like I said, H&K is not known for being pro Second Amendment, really. They're kind of against people owning guns, and their prices reflect that. So it's not something where they have a whole lot of love from the community. There are guns that people want that they can't get.
Still want a P30L and I can't find one.
Yeah, I mean the guns that are cool, like the MP7, you can't buy. So there's a whole lot of people that are like, oh, H&K just hates the civilian market, and then your social media manager gets on the official H&K social media platform and dumps on the gun community as it is. They're literally like, why are we going to buy your overpriced garbage when Glock? Yeah. That's exactly what happens. I'm not going to spend the money on an MR556, which is like the civilian clone of the cool guy 416, the gun that all the special forces use for a decade. I'm not going to buy that because I can go and get another quality rifle from someone that doesn't hate me.
Yep. Here's the tweet that they put up. They say, H&K does not engage in identity politics. A policy was violated. Changes were made. Maybe that's how you respond. This should become like a template that everybody should use. This sign should then be every company's mea culpa sign. That is the mea culpa sign that every company should engage with there. Like I said, I'm with you there on the H&K stuff, though.
Yeah, I love their products, but again, it's like, if I want to get a 416, I'm going to spend $10,000. If I get an LMT, I'm going to spend $2,000, and they're like the same quality rifle.
I was looking for a P30L in something other than a 40, and very, very hard to find.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
gun brokers, where are you going to find it? And it's not going to be cheap.
Nope, I don't have the money for that.
Yeah, so. And so. I feel I am on board with the gun industry, or not with the the gun community on Twitter. H&K stepped over the line and they got smacked. But it's like, look, they make guns for the German government. Like,
We've got one from High Voltage 75. Let's go Montana for being the first state to ban TikTok.
Oh, wow.
Truly is the best state to live in and run my business from. Yeah, I did hear about that. I should have sent that to you.
We got a fun TikTok. Well, not fun. We got a scary TikTok one for tomorrow.
We've got another one from High Voltage 75. Oh, sorry, that one was from Toy News Daily. This one is from High Voltage 75. There's a whole secret menu at In-N-Out. I don't believe people when they say there's a secret menu.
There's that one
For
guy.
example, you can get your burger in a lettuce wrap instead of a bun, and you can get fries well done, animal style, cheese fries, etc. Okay, but look, a secret menu at any establishment is just you asking for specifications. It's not actually a secret menu. When people say there's a secret menu at Starbucks, it just means I'm going to ask this barista to take 40 minutes of their time to make me a special drink that they don't have the time to make.
If you do say animal style, that's all you got to say, and they will make the special thing for the fries.
That's already at Five Guys, right?
Yep.
Or like Cajun fries. They
Could
have
be.
like Cajun seasoning on fries.
No, I want French fries.
Five Guys fries are objectively better. Burgers, I don't really care about anyway. Mid. And way overpriced.
Yeah.
All right, back to H&K. They're dumb, and they should sell me MP7s.
There you go. Let's go. All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
Minor Zircon said, Mary, doesn't the whatever show hurt when you're there?
Does it hurt, Mary?
What does that mean?
Is it suffer? Does it make you suffer to go there?
Does it make me suffer?
No,
or make them suffer?
Mary wants to have those discussions with people, so like it probably makes those people hurt more than her, right?
It's not easy to sit there for 4 to 5 hours arguing about hookup culture. But
Like 5 hours is a long time to do.
someone's got to do it.
You're doing God's work, as they would say, right?
You are.
Or was what I just said blasphemous to say that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really. A Minor Zircon said Weinstein was protected by Hollywood. Yes,
Yes,
he
for
was.
a very long time.
X said Mary.
What? Is there another one?
What was that?
Was there like it glitched there?
Did it glitch?
It
Okay,
glitched.
I was like.
That happens sometimes.
Minor Zircon said, X said, Mary, you cool with them calling you Virgin Mary? I didn't ask them to do that, but
It's stuck.
people are gonna come up with their clickbait titles as they please. I don't know. Luis Aguilar said, food culture crisis, Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out?
I'm guessing most people here would say Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's definitely Chick-fil-A.
I mean,
like, not
prefer-
even close.
I would prefer a burger most of the time anyways, but I'd take Chick-fil-A just for the waffle fries and the mac and cheese.
It is not even a competition.
Though I also like Raising Cane's.
Phil?
I mean, what do I prefer? I prefer
Chick-fil-A or
burgers,
In-N-Out?
but I would probably go to Chick-fil-A for the chicken breast.
There you go.
sandwiches.
Whatever you do, don't
Not
go to
fried.
Own the Libs.
Going to Chick-fil-A and asking for a chicken breast sandwich.
I literally
Like, that's normal.
all the time get just grilled chicken breast. That's it.
You ask them for that and they give it to you?
Yeah, that's all it is. Just grilled chicken and bread, and then I don't even eat one of the buns.
Oh, I thought you meant you just order one grilled chicken breast and they just gave you that.
No.
It's on the secret menu.
Yeah, it's the secret
It's at
menu.
the Chick-fil-A secret menu.
They do have grilled nuggets, which are good, but they're not nuggets.
I posted a meme the other day. It's like it's from this old Tom Cruise movie where he's like, "I will not apologize for what I want, for what I need," and it says like me when my friend says you're nearing 40, are you really ordering chicken tenders from the waiter? It's like,
Tendies and chalky milk.
It's like, I will not apologize for what I want. I will not apologize for what I need.
Chalky milk.
Nerdy Film Girl said Chunk Foods steak is actually incredible. Had it at a restaurant a few months ago.
Okay, well, if it's good for you, good.
What is Chunk?
That's the stuff from what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. That was the steak from.
Oh,
it's the name of the company.
3D printed steak.
Yeah. Did they 3D print it for you? Right? Like you know what they need?
What is it actually made of?
You know what they need? Just like how like when you go to get to a hibachi grill and they make it for you right there with like all the flames and everything. They need a 3D printer hibachi grill where they 3D print it right in front of you with like a chef doing all sorts of like over the top movements as like your steak is being printed in the 3D printer right in front of you.
Are they gonna start 3D printing pizzas next?
Please no. One more, and then let's move on.
Shane H. Wilder said, Mary's right on In-N-Out. I had it once, and once was too much. Also, the only time I used that much saran was to wrap someone's truck as a prank.
Good call.
Smart.
What are your guys' thoughts on pranks? It's just a prank, bro.
What about sticky notes on your friend's car?
What?
I'm
Just all over it.
I'm anti-prank.
Anti-prank?
Yep, I'm anti-prank.
Nobody really likes somebody whose identity is around them being a prankster.
No, but what about one prank once in a while?
That's different than the person who's like, if you're known as the prankster, it just means you're a dick.
Kellen will put a chocolate bar somewhere where it doesn't belong and be like, pranked you, bro.
It's just a prank, bro.
It depends. Well, I mean, it depends. So our drummer Jason, for a long time, would take bottle caps and put them in the cup holders on the bus.
Oh, that's so annoying.
That is annoying for bottles, but for cans, if you have a beer can or if you have a soda can, it was fine because of the size of them.
And it would,
no, they would be fine with those. But if
no,
you
that's what I'm saying. The way the can is shaped, yes.
it'd be fine. But if you put a Red Bull in, and I was the guy that drank Red Bull, the Red Bulls would flop around because of the bottle cap. So he would spend entire tours dropping bottle cans or drop bottle caps in all of them because I'm the guy that got annoyed because I was the only one that noticed because I was the guy drinking Red Bull. So those are fine. We spent the whole tour putting garbage in our guitar player's bunk because for some reason it didn't seem to be noticing him. But they weren't like we weren't putting like sauces that would mess it up. It was all paper stuff. So it was like, like they would bring the groceries up, and so it'd be like the bags, like paper bags or plastic bags. We'd put those empty bags into his bunks, and you'd hear him rolling around at night and just this shuffling of paper. Like that kind of stuff is okay because it's funny and it's not super invasive. You're not messing. He didn't have to clean his bunk to go back to bed. Take the stuff out. It's annoying. Go back to bed. Fine. It's like when you throw water on people, throw like the stuff that really
They're the
messes up your day.
Videos where someone will like. Have you seen these videos where someone will go up to someone who's sleeping, like their friend who's sleeping, and just start pouring ketchup all over their face?
Awful.
And they're just covered in it. And they open their eyes and break through the ketchup.
Oh God!
There's the one where they drew like they drew something on Mike Tyson's forehead and they drew it with a lisp.
And another thing is like if you fall asleep in like if you're at a party or whatever, and this happens on the bus, but if you go to a party, if you fall asleep on the couch and you have your shoes on, you are doomed.
Somebody with a Sharpie is coming for you.
Yes.
And
Take your shoes off.
There will be things drawn on your face. Penises will end up drawn on your face.
Do you have like touring prank videos?
I mean, it was usually one of those things where depending on where you were, there's always one person who knows how to push it just to the line before a fight breaks out, depending on how much drinking took place the night before. But, usually if it's bad, it's because it involved ruining people's sleep in a lot of ways.
Like that girl who looks like Nicole Kidman, or not Nicole Kidman, Nicole Brown waking up O.J. Simpson.
Yes. Well, oh man, I forgot about that. Like that lady's lucky to make it out alive, right? Like,
is that even a prank?
Yeah, it's just a prank, bro. But like usually you have to have the type of personality where your friends are like, oh, we love this guy. You can't just become the prankster. It's kind of like that from what's it called? Where like you can't just start a slow clap at any old time.
Do women do pranks?
Like. I somehow find is that in the same vein of women doing stand-up comedy? Like it's just.
I don't think women prank each other.
I don't think so. I think women talk shit about each other behind each other's backs.
Yes.
Okay, but what if you're trying to like not betray your friend?
Yeah. How do women?
I think then you're trans.
Yeah. So yes, trans women prank. All right, let's do one more and then let's move on.
Derek Knoll said, the swimsuit issue made men buy that magazine and made females who graced it stars. And this is now my fave, IRL thumbs down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we're better than our sister show.
All right. Like, that's the compliment that I need in my life right now.
People were arguing about models and what models should look like on Twitter today. But people seem to either be on one extreme or the other. one response said, like, models are supposed to be unattainable beauty standards to appeal to men.
They should be.
And I was like, well, see, but Brett, you're not really thinking about it, because
the moment you tell me that they have to look normal,
models-
then the question becomes, what is normal and who is it normal to?
most models are commercial models, but not all models are commercial models. Some of them are fashion models, which are for gay men and for women. So there are different purposes for different models, which is why they look different. Like
all
yeah,
these
like-
fitness or lingerie models.
Like the fashion models are like Slender Man, but then like fitness models, like they actually have like nice bodies and stuff.
well, not even just in like body type, but also face. Like runway models are supposed to look weird.
Yeah,
They're supposed to
like
look
hair. It's like the heroin chic, but worse.
strange.
Now. Yeah, closer to aliens, the better.
yeah, there you go.
There actually is quite a fine line between like the most attractive people and the most ugly people, but it's just that's like a niche take of mine. But like it's like
Maybe that's why that meme's so
you're
accurate.
right on the precipice.
What maybe that's why that meme is so accurate. The one that says like you're not ugly, you're just poor. Like because ugly people with
Maybe
the
they're
right amount of
closer
money, because so
than
they
you
can
think.
turn themselves into beauty really, really easily.
There is something to be said about wealth and people taking care of themselves.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't think that it's actually like the way they look. But
People look
that have,
better at Whole Foods than at Costco.
yes, they do. And the thing is, it's partially because people that there is a certain amount of like, people that have money tend to be fairly smarter, like an average. And they also, that means they are smart enough to not smoke cigarettes and smart enough to be like, oh, this is a problem in my life. I should stop eating these pizzas every night. And, I should go to the gym. Like that kind of stuff does translate into the way you look. And so.
You know something else? I saw this picture of Kim Kardashian with, I think, like Gigi Hadid or some model next to her at a basketball game, but they're like photographed from behind. And I think people were joking about Kim Kardashian, like she put her butt back in. She took it out and then she put it back in.
She just took it
keeps
out.
taking it out and putting it back in.
Must be nice.
But her ass just, especially in loose jeans, it's like it's only tight on the butt and then it's loose on the legs. It just looks so bad.
I'm gonna say
it looks like a
this.
full diaper.
Like I love to go to karaoke and do Baby Got Back. Like I love the song, but that song tricked people into thinking that more is always better, and it's not. It is the shape. You want to have muscle in the butt. You want to have a big muscle butt on a girl? Cool. But if it's just
But you
cottage
can't remove
cheese,
that
yeah.
and then
If
put
it's
it
just
back.
cottage cheese in there, and you're just like it flops around, that's not attractive. And I know that there are people that are just like, oh,
Kim
more
Kardashian's
ass.
butt just is
Too big.
hanging. It's hanging too low. The gravity
big.
is pulling that thing down.
you know what
big.
it was? Is it was feminism then got in there and was like, then we got the phrase, "What am I, too much woman for you?" And the guy's like,
Yes.
"No, you're yes,
Yes,
you absolutely are."
There needs to be half
think
as
it's
much
like-
woman.
It's the huge ass with the skinny little thighs that's the most disturbing part, because you can tell that it's fake then.
Yeah.
She wants to have it all, but like you can't. You can't have it all.
Another thing feminism lied to him about. You can't have it all.
Can't have thigh
All right,
gap
we're
and a
moving
big
on.
ass.
And listen, if you want to have a nice butt, go to the gym. Everybody should go to the gym, and everybody should lift weights, women included.
Yep. All right.
I had something other than that I wanted to like go on a tangent about, but I forget what it was.
We're gonna move on, guys. Okay, I've got something to share with you guys today. This is one of the most insane things I have read in a very long time. Somebody wrote an open letter to Taylor Swift because they don't approve of her dating choices. And what you're about to read is not a joke. This is not a prank. This is not a parody. These people are bonkers, and they should be studied in the future in the context of parasocial relationships with celebrities and authoritarianism. Let's go through this. I want to put it on screen so that
Yeah.
everyone can see what we're reading here.
The
So I'm gonna-
Swifties have put out an open letter to Taylor Swift from the fans. # Speak Up Now, which is a reference to her album Speak Now,
Now.
which
Let's-
she's just re-released.
let's just read the whole thing. So put it on. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I saw this reposted, so I don't know who originally put it up. Dear Taylor, as concerned fans, we are writing to express our disappointment regarding recent events. You've been recently seen. This is like when your girlfriend says, like, we need to talk, but you don't know what it's
Nobody, fun fact, nobody who's ever gotten a "we need to talk" text has ever been in a good mood afterwards. It's
You've
not a
been
thing.
recently seen with and have welcomed to your stage Matty Healy, the frontman of the 1975. He has been involved in acts and controversies that deeply trouble us, from engaging in racist remarks, making offensive jokes, and admitting to watching degrading pornography in which people of color are humiliated and assaulted. His actions contribute to the perpetuation of hate, stereotypes, and objectification, which targets and hurts some people from the Jewish, Black, Chinese, Hawaiian, Inuit, is that how it's said?
Inuit,
yeah.
LGBTQ plus communities, as well as women. While individuals have the right to make their own choices and form relationships, we believe it's essential for those in the public eye to take a stand against discrimination and hold themselves and their associates accountable. Your voice holds tremendous power, and right now your silence is palpable. This silence sends a message of indifference, particularly to the fans who have supported you. Racism, anti-Semitism, and any form of discrimination have no place in our society. As fans, we believe in the power to inspire positive change, promote inclusivity, and educate others. Staying silent about actions that perpetuate hatred and contribute to systemic oppression undermines the progress that we have made towards equality and understanding. We urge you to reflect on the impact of your own and your associates' behavior and engage in genuine self-reflection. You cannot ask Taylor Swift for genuine self-reflection. That's never going to happen.
Easy.
Keep going.
True change requires more than a simple apology. It necessitates a commitment to education, unlearning harmful beliefs, and actively dismantling systems of oppression that perpetuate racism and discrimination. Open dialogue with the communities affected by these actions is crucial. Listen to their experiences, learn from their perspectives, and amplify their voices. Seek guidance. What does any of this mean? Seek guidance from organizations and individuals who have dedicated their lives to combating racism, anti-Semitism, and other forms of bigotry. We believe in the capacity for growth and transformation. By acknowledging this letter, demonstrating genuine remorse, and committing to personal growth and education, you have the opportunity to make amends and contribute positively to society. Use your platforms responsibly and intentionally. Advocate for inclusivity, celebrate diversity, and promote empathy and understanding. None of this means anything. Challenge harmful ideologies and inspire your followers to join you in creating a more just and equitable world. Change takes time, but we hope to see you actively engage in this process of personal and social transformation. Let this be the turning point where you become a force for positive change and a catalyst for healing. Sincerely, your fans.
This is a struggle session.
This is one of the most psychotic, disturbing. I'm not being hyperbolic.
Nope.
This is one of the most disturbing things I've ever read in my entire life. That was about 87,000 buzzwords that add up to "do what we say or else."
Yep.
Do what we say or else.
One of the reactions says, sorry to hear that musician you have a parasocial relationship with might be dating someone you're not such a big fan of.
The sad thing is, those people, they don't understand how insidious stuff like this is.
This is absolutely awful. This is absolutely a struggle session. The whole point is to make Taylor Swift leave her boyfriend because she's with someone that they think is verboten. It is like a religion, and it is absolutely insidious. You use the perfect word, Brett. It is insidious, and it will destroy your relationships if you allow this type of behavior to influence your life.
The person said like it's a religion. All of this, they used every buzzword from just about every area of the ideological left, all adding up to "do what we say or we will continue doing this." I partly put this on her. First of all, it is hilarious that this comes out of Taylor Swift, a person who's literally known for being bad at picking people to date. So that's kind of funny in a way.
You know
to me.
that the relationship is going to be over soon anyway. Why do you even care enough to say anything?
And the level of sanctimony in something like this.
You know, when we talk about J.K. Rowling, and sometimes we say, you know, the amount of heat that J.K. Rowling has taken for her takes on gender, you can only, you know, blame her because she's courted this audience of woke people. Similarly, Taylor Swift has done the same thing. She put out a whole documentary called Miss Americana, referring to herself, basically becoming politically outspoken when it best suited her, when it was convenient for her, when it allowed her to court a wider audience. And now when they turn on you,
and they will, because they always do,
then what happens then? Do you expect us to defend you? Because I don't care.
And they court, like you said, with J.K. Rowling, they court their audience themselves without knowing the size of the monster.
I think,
that they're pulling
ironically,
towards them.
Maddie Healy has a lot more integrity and artistic merit than Taylor Swift. He has done a lot of crazy things in the name of art, in the name of performance art on stage, and a lot of it is controversial. He's done Nazi salutes. He has like jumped his photographers and started like humping them on stage. He has taken his clothes off, eaten raw meat on stage, done push-ups in front of Ben Shapiro videos.
She'd have to do the push-ups really, really fast to match Ben Shapiro's speaking tone.
He's doing performance art that criticizes the expectations that are put on a liberal man.
Actual art.
Yeah.
Whereas what Taylor Swift does is prepackaged pop garbage.
And he said over and over that it's not his mission to prove to anyone that he's not racist, that he's not sexist, that he's not this or that, whatever accusation. Because it's not his first rodeo. Like, he's used to hearing criticisms like this. It's nothing new. But Taylor Swift, she is such a narcissist and so incapable of self-reflection. I don't think that she is capable of making decisions on her own anymore. Everything is a marketing decision, so this does have the ability to ruin her relationship.
Your voice holds tremendous power, and right now, your silence is palpable. Let me rephrase that. Silence is violence, so say what we want. Meaning, apologize.
Well, wasn't Taylor Swift kind of lambasted for years and years when she was silent specifically about feminism?
Yep.
Before, I would say current year, before like 2015, she would never talk about politics. She would refuse to talk about her takes on anything, feminism or the like, even when she was baited actively to do so.
I think you can
which
blame
I thought meant
TDS for that.
You can blame TDS, and you can also blame the fear about abortion. The way that abortion is treated and the discourses surrounding abortion leading up to Roe versus Wade and stuff, or the repeal of Roe versus Wade, it was as if they repeal Roe versus Wade, every woman would instantly be pregnant and they would be locked up until they...
Tale.
Yeah.
The Handmaid's Tale was always just for affluent white liberal females who who use this TV series as their outlet for their depraved sexual fantasies of being oppressed and sexually controlled by men.
Yeah, I personally am a massive fan of Taylor Swift. I think that she's a brilliant writer. I think that that her ability as a lyricist is second to none. I think that what the song is about by the end of the first stanza, and she's already got you involved in the
I think she's got a harder work ethic than almost every other artist these days.
Maybe, but I think as a songwriter she's great, and I know that she does write stuff. Like she's in the room when her songs are written. It's not like she doesn't have a songwriting farm that just pumps out songs that she selects. Like she actually writes with other writers in the room, so she's does the exact same thing that I do, which is I get into the room with producers and writers, and that's how we write songs. So I have a ton of respect for her when it comes to the music and stuff. Her politics are pretty standard shit lib, which is a bad liberal. You know, they have what are popular ideas as opposed to what are principled liberal ideas. So,
wedge issues.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, like, you know, that you can be pro-life and have liberal ideas and be pro-life because you're thinking about the life of the individual that is being born.
That's the libertarian argument for it.
Exactly, you know, and that's a liberal idea. And you can be pro-life and stuff and be liberal, but there's too many people out there that have mistaken authoritarian ideas for liberal ideas.
I don't even want to talk about Taylor Swift. I want to talk about the entitlement of the fans. This is one of these things where it's like the desire to control other people is palpable in society. society. But now what they've realized is that the ability to do that is further enhanced when you cloak your authoritarian nature in virtuous causes, meaning that the person what they perceive as virtuous causes. So you drop a bunch of buzzwords, you use inclusivity, you use discrimination, you mention anti-Semitism. Now that gives me free reign to tell you, you better do this or else, because they know that the threat is scarier than the actual action.
Yeah.
They can't actually make you do anything physically.
For some reason, I've been getting a lot of tweets from the Swifties, the Stan accounts, on my Twitter For You page. And the sound of all of their discourse is that they do think that they're friends of Taylor's. They think that they are her friends and associates and equals, that they can speak to her like they know each other. Yeah, which is intentional on her part, which invites this behavior. So I don't feel sympathy for her in that regard. And they have been actually crying and seething and coping about Maddie Healy being her friend or being her boyfriend this entire time since the news came out. Because I think they want to live vicariously through her. So they don't want her to date anyone they wouldn't date or approve of. And they also, I mean, think about how hesitant people are to even speak when their friend is dating someone they don't like. So this is somebody that you've never even met, and you're telling them what you think of who they're dating.
It's a weird
That's
form
crazy.
of delusional groupthink. That
Taylor Swift's friend would never talk to her like this.
But this is kind of promulgated through a culture of digital communication now, where you feel like you have more of a right to speak to someone a certain way because it's being done digitally. The awkwardness of having this conversation in person would be different.
So now that we've seen the responses, do you still think that Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy are a PR couple?
I never thought they were a PR couple.
Because this is bad.
To be.
You did. You were saying like everything Taylor Swift does is for PR. None of this is real.
But I also pointed out, I said, but that doesn't make any sense here because there's no way out. There's no good way out for this relationship with her.
She doesn't benefit. He benefits.
He benefits. Like, that's the saying. Like, I don't believe that she's capable of having a relationship that doesn't involve at least considering the PR in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that's a thing for her at this point.
That's different from planning the entire thing. If
that's how it came off before, then I spoke incorrectly, or I didn't describe what I meant. What I meant was that I don't know if it's possible for her to have a relationship where it's like, oh, I fell in love and that's what it was. I think that when you're her level of fame, when your career has been largely focused around songs that people know involve your dating life, you have put commerce into your relationships, whether you like it or not.
The slander that has been just like doled out to every guy Taylor Swift has dated. I see it all the time, even to this day. Guys who dated her not decades ago, like over a decade ago. Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's from her fans,
Joe
though,
Jonas
right?
and John Mayer.
Yes. And that's
all of these men. I think Taylor Lautner.
Crazy her fans are. That's not.
Yes,
really her
Taylor
fault.
Lautner is the only guy who has made it out alive in his reputation.
It's also going to be interesting because it'll be like, okay, so let's take this to its logical conclusion. Do I think that her and Maddie Healy are going to get married? No. But it will be interesting to see what they take. They're going to have opinions about what her reflections on the relationship will be. If she writes songs about him and they're not about how she didn't understand that he was a racist, sexist, bigoted homophobe, they're going to be like, well, why aren't you addressing these concerns? Why is it just that he broke your heart? Why isn't that he broke our heart by dating you when he's a racist, sexist, bigoted homophobe? They're going to have exceptions.
How could he do this to us?
Yeah, there's going to be expectations about what she addresses when they break up.
In a way, Taylor Swift doesn't need to have biological children because she already has her fan base.
Yes. And in the chat, Mark Daga says, John Mayer pees sitting down.
They're already like attached to her by some weird parasocial umbilical cord.
Why would you say John Mayer pees sitting down?
Oh,
Maybe every guy that Taylor Swift has ever dated pees sitting down.
I mean, I'm a John Mayer fan too. He's an amazing guitar player and a great songwriter. There's a lot of people that like. There's a lot of pop musicians that people are gonna knee-jerk criticize because they're pop musicians that I'm gonna be like, yo,
I remember
they're
like
badass.
one John Mayer song.
Yeah, oh God, he's great.
Are there other ones?
Oh my God, he's
a very accomplished artist.
He's a brilliant musician. He's a overall musician, not just guitar player. He's a brilliant musician. He's a great songwriter. He's a great singer. I mean,
because a lot of great pop artists come from more complex backgrounds, and then they find a way to sell a certain aspect of that product.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of times you get to be especially a big pop star, you can't be terrible.
Yeah,
like,
Justin Bieber plays multiple instruments, right? I believe.
Yeah.
He
started as a drummer.
He was a Disney kid.
Yeah,
he was doing that stuff when he was a child.
Justin was a Disney kid.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I don't think he was at Disney.
Well, he was doing that stuff when he was a kid, then. So maybe he wasn't Disney, but it was.
No, because Scooter Braun or whatever found him on YouTube, or so. He was like one of those great success stories. Like he was found on YouTube.
I think he was like
that.
kind of the first YouTube pop star. Like that was hugely highlighted in his documentary.
Someone said is John Gay. John Mayer.
John Gayer.
Someone said
as
is
being
John
a super big
yes,
ladies man.
He is just smashed everything in Hollywood. the guy's pelvis is a jackhammer, and women are the sidewalk.
Why are the most effeminate men usually the most man whorish?
Does he come off as effeminate to you?
I mean, most artistic guys are.
Do I come off as effeminate to you?
I mean, you specifically no.
Okay.
But most men in art, creative guys, musicians,
I think it's probably. I think my context and the people that I'm around in the metal community don't come off as all that feminine. Maybe some of the younger guys, but that might be why I have a bit of a different perspective than you.
Look, for Taylor Swift, I think this is one of those things where it's just, you should be very wary of this. I put up a poll today. I said, who has scarier fans, BTS or Taylor Swift? Sitting right now, Taylor Swift is in the lead at 51%. You should be aware and weary of the culture of celebrity worship.
You know, the thing is, Matty Healy is so chronically online that he almost definitely is paying attention to this response. And he probably finds it hilarious and wants to keep offending.
And if you're her and you've gotten to the level that she's at, I don't believe for a second that she didn't consider that this would happen. So she at the very least is thinking far enough ahead that she's thinking about how it will affect her business and where she will take it. I don't believe for a second that she didn't think that.
Is she too big to fail and it doesn't matter what she does anymore?
I think she can pivot in any direction.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to Super League. It really is. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on this one, but it's kind of it's scary. Like the language of that entire bit was scary. The way that they're talking about her. Like, okay, they say use your platform responsibly, intelligently. I want to go through some of this. I do want to spend a little bit more time.
Brett, you need to check your Slack messages, but I need to go to Superchats.
Yep, do it.
Martin Santiago said, "Lesbian underwater basket weaving. Get it right."
I always leave out the underwater part.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Calling a jewelry company devil, so edgy. Let me call my buddy who's an expert on edginess." Your buddy Eric. No Tax Good Tax said, "Modern femme ideology led to annoying red pill guys, which causes the downward spiral of our society."
Thoughts?
Certainly a reaction.
There is definitely a response to what seems to be the feminization of society, but the response is by almost like a phony masculinity. Like I know that people see like Andrew Tate and they think, oh, he's a masculine guy, but it's very postmodern masculinity. It's very fake and like.
It's the watch, it's the suit, it's the car.
Yeah. Overly bombastic.
Yeah. And
it's all things that can be taken away from you.
Yeah. And then there's also the trad masculine guys that think if they just have a bunch of kids and chop wood and farm, that makes them masculine. It's like, well, that is more masculine, but it's still kind of putting on a show for people.
Well, and any of this stuff in the context of when you're selling it to someone online. I make the same point when they talk about trad women. And I'm like, you're wearing a floral dress. It's a costume. Like it's a get up that you're wearing to sell an idea. So,
yeah.
Let's
Sketch Therapy said, "Phil, did you see Heckler and Koch fire woke marketing?"
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Shane H.
Wilder said, "Mary spitting facts. The article I'm writing is on abortion and the degradation of the human person and everything from that to sex selling, had to go to new extremes because of hypersexualization.
Yeah.
Well, let us know when you put out your article. Just a sub 32 said, Mary, you think you can convince Tim to go on whatever podcast? Absolutely not.
Watching him like Socratic method those women would be the funniest thing in the entire world.
They wouldn't, but they wouldn't do it. It would be
hilarious.
worse than trying to Socratic method Kanye.
It'd be all it'd be
They
all
would
ass
not do
posting.
it.
It would be all shit posting. They would be trying to they would all be just like trying to dunk on Tim and make remarks that it wouldn't be anything.
It's also just like
worthwhile.
too much Zoomer energy in one room for him. It's not what he's used to. James Orenthal Wen said F In-N-Out and Five Guys. The Habit Charburgers for the MF win.
Charburgers are good.
Never heard of that before.
Juicy
actually.
Lucy? Juicy Lucy?
I don't know that.
It's where the cheese is inside the burger.
What?
That was pioneered in Minnesota.
Sounds good.
Is that like those viral videos where they cut into it and it just explodes with boiling hot cheese?
I mean, if it's done
'Cause-
right, it doesn't explode, but it is good. It is good.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant in Minnesota called the Blue Door that does a particularly really good one. that
Food
if you live in
porn?
Minnesota, you should go check out.
Food porn just really bothers me for some reason because
Really?
it's just not appetizing to see a burger just explode with like
What about the food snuff films where they just make where it's just they make a bunch of like it's just the most disgusting thing you've ever seen and they do it on purpose to make it just for views?
I hate
the
name.
rage bait cooking videos
Yeah.
have been everywhere recently. Yeah, and also the rage bait mukbangs where they eat a Big Mac in 4 bites.
I like it when they cut things at odd angles just to piss you off. Where it's like, it's like this. There's the one where he cuts a pizza into like 77 pieces, and it's like Mickey Mouse going, "That's good. That's good. Stop it. Stop it."
Theoden King of Broan said, "Gotta order In-N-Out. Well done, because they are only potatoes, oil, and salt. The unhealthy fake stuff and other fast food fries make them more consistent and tasty. Hating In-N-Out is trendy on the left."
Well, you don't want to be a leftist here.
Is this are you actually politicizing In-N-Out right now?
I mean, well,
Are you politicizing whether their
food-
fries are good?
Food has been politicized, whether you like it or not, in a lot of ways.
Please.
Like, how many times have we heard people now talking about canning your own food is white supremacy?
Anything that makes you self-sufficient.
Yep.
Anything that makes you less dependent on the government or less dependent in general.
Martin Santiago said, "Prank 'em, John. If you know, you know."
Wasn't that a
I don't
Vine video or something back in the day?
Vine. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Waffle Sensei said, "I once Sharpied a dude to the point of full-on." I won't say that. He had to go to work the next morning. He was the manager of the facility. I'm not proud of my actions, but I'm not disappointed either. How do you sleep through that entire thing?
That depends on how much you drank. It really does.
That's insane.
Let's get through the.
But that also will stay on someone's face for days.
Yeah. He might have.
days.
That guy might have had to miss work the next day.
The mayor of Serious Town said, "Speaking of muscles and butts, fellas, get yourselves some true classic t-shirts and chinos. Great for the muscles. And yes, everyone go to the gym." I don't know about the chinos part.
I see True Classic ads
That ain't it.
constantly.
Chinos ain't it.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Mary's real hot take for the day. Chinos ain't it.
Men need to look as normal as possible from here on out. I don't want anyone to be standing out.
Like I
Just
said, the greatest compliment
normal.
I've ever received is Brett dresses politically neutral.
Men should just dress as normal as possible.
Yeah.
At all times. Matt H. Fetty, Weddy Fap
Witty pop.
said, "Phil, let's get an All That Remains Timcast collaboration, cover or mix for Wash It All Away by
Five Finger Death Punch.
Five Finger Death Punch. Are you on IRL tonight?"
I will be.
That's why we're hurrying through these now, ladies and
Yeah, I
gentlemen.
gotta go home and feed my
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, this is for a dog's life,
Yes.
people. Don't you care about animals? It's over 9,000, said Brett. Have you seen the movie The Black Dahlia? Josh Hartnett and Aaron Eckhart attempt to solve the gruesome murder of actress Elizabeth Short.
I saw the Black Dahlia around the same time that I saw the movie Zodiac, because I didn't see Zodiac when it first came out. It's been so long since I've watched it. I'd have to rewatch it. But if you want to watch a good Josh Hartnett movie that's not super serious, watch Lucky Number 11 with Bruce Willis, Josh Hartnett. This is the cast: Bruce Willis, Josh Hartnett, Lucy Liu, Morgan Freeman, and Sir Ben Kingsley. That's a fantastic resume cast of actors. Go check that movie out if you can find it. It's really, really good. Amazing set designs.
James Orenthal-Wen said John Mayer, also sketch player on Chappelle's show.
We were talking about doing like a Chappelle show watch party. Like, a lot of people don't realize that our society's memes used to be just my generation of people yelling Chappelle quotes back and forth to each other.
Mark Daga said John Mayer used to dress up in a bear costume, walk around his concerts, and make fun of John Mayers through a megaphone. He said that about himself.
Well, the ability to make fun of yourself is an important thing to have.
John Mayer's funny.
Not Alan Rogers. That just sounds unhinged. That doesn't sound very funny. Not Alan Rogers said, this is all because Dasha cheated on Adam. Is it, though? I don't even know if that's the true story. Shane H. Wilder said, it drops on Wednesday. I'll shoot you a link then. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys, before we go, could you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Again, we have passed 60,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. Phil, let everyone know where they can find you.
Hi, I'm Phil from All That Remains. You can find me on Twitter at Phil That Remains. I am Phil That Remains official on Instagram. You can find the band All That Remains on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and all that stuff.
Perfect. Mary, where can they find you?
Yes. Well, if you want to go watch the last 9 hours of the Whatever podcast, I am on them. I did that while I was gone recently, if you didn't know. And if you want to send me validation, you can find me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can send me hate. That is on Twitter, also Mary Archived.
Perfect. All right, guys, if you would like to follow me, hold on, let me pull this back up here. Where did it go?
What's
there it is.
wrong?
All right. I lost my place here because it logged me out of my seat there. Okay. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Please remember, Pop Culture Crisis is here, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific right here on YouTube. If you'd like to listen to this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show. Remember, that's where you can send hashtag PCCPets if you want them featured on Cue of the Day. Facebook and Twitter at Facebook and Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis. No, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow with a very special guest. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.